Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Gaming Lounge Podcast, episode 100. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and as always, I'm joined by Dory. How you doing, Dory?
Hey Seb, super excited today to talk about a new spy game that came out recently. Now, this spy game is from a notable European studio that has to follow up on a highly lauded game, which boasted immersive gameplay, an interesting world, and very memorable protagonist who loved using his gun. I'm, of course, talking about 007 First Light, which, what other spy game in May that came out would I be talking about? I don't know. Who knows? Yeah, I'm really excited. We're going to be talking about 007 First Light. I've talked about this a couple times and grew up being a huge James Bond fan. Haven't been keeping up in recent years, but loved them as a kid. Played, of course, GoldenEye, and I loved Everything or Nothing. Uh, I played one of the Brosnan ones as well for the PS1 or PS2. I don't remember which one that was though. And I think it was a movie tie-in game. So I was big on Bond back when I was a kid, so I was really excited to check this game out. Then we've got some news. Fable's been delayed, and Valve has raised Steam Deck prices. Plus, Seb's got a whole host of state of play predictions, and I'm going to laugh at them because they're all ridiculous and silly. That's not true. He's got some interesting predictions, so we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, Summer Game Fest and, Christmas in June is right around the corner for
Yep.
gamers. It's an exciting time. We're going to record several episodes to talk about all of the showcases that are coming up. There's a lot of news, of course. June is always a month where there's not a lot of game releases. You might get one or two big games, but it's the biggest month for like news. Like this is the showcase. The only other showcase is what Gamescom in August, which you do get stuff there too, but not as much as Summer Game Fest, and then the Game Awards, of course.
Yep.
So we're not gonna get any gaming news for a while. So this is the big one. So it's a very exciting time. Anyway, let's get to our first topic, which is Fable being delayed until February 2027, which Microsoft has now announced. So, for me, this is not a shocker. I've always thought that this game was not coming out until next year because if it was coming out late in the year, I thought it was just too close to GTA 6. I think everybody needs to stay clear away from GTA 6. It's not like Grand Theft Auto is an annual series. We haven't got Grand Theft Auto since 2013, so it's been 13 years. Everybody's anticipating GTA 6. Just get your game away from it. Like
Yep.
you don't get that many games that are that big of a cultural phenomenon to steer away from. So just move your game to February. I think that's a great idea. So let's get into it. So VGC, I'm quoting them. It says in a social post from the official Xbox account, the company said that it has made the decision so that Fable can have the dedicated moment it deserves, which is likely in reference to GTA 6's launch year later this year. Quote, this year is packed with incredible games for Xbox players to enjoy, from Halo campaign involved, Gears of War E-Day, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, to Control Rust in it, Star Wars Galactic Racer, and Grand Theft Auto 6, it wrote. In order to plan our game launches through the holidays in a way that works best for players, we're moving Fable to February 2027 so it can have the dedicated moment it deserves. We're excited to be giving players a major new look at Fable, as well as our broader lineup at Xbox Game Showcase on June 7th. It says Matt Booty, Chief Content Officer at Xbox, claimed in a new video game posted to the Xbox YouTube channel that despite the delay, the game is in great shape. Quote, the team feels really good. We're excited about where the game is. We wanted to make sure that the game has a window all to its own. While Fable didn't have an exact release date announced, Microsoft had said that the game was planned for 2026. It was speculated that the game could be released in August. So Dory, what's your reaction to the delay?
Yeah, not surprised. Similar to you, to quote the anti-version of Jaden Yuki from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, get your game off, as in off of the rest back half of the year. Thank you. I did think about how best to phrase that joke, and did somehow remember Jaden's last name. Don't know how I did that. Anyway, yeah, wasn't surprised. I remember a few weeks ago when one of the Fable devs was like, "Yeah, it's definitely come out 2026. We're still planning for that." And I remember posting one of the Discord servers we're in. I'm like, yeah, heavy X to doubt because to the best of my knowledge and recollection, and I could be wrong about this, we haven't seen a singular gameplay demonstration of what Fable actually looks like in practice, right? We've seen some clips, we've seen some screenshots, we've seen some trailers, but nothing besides a vague hinting of a 2026 uh, release date. And when you're this late in the year, and
Fable is
it's hard to believe, but it's almost June, and you're halfway through the year, and you don't even have a specific season, let alone or a specific yeah, a specific season, let alone a month
Yeah,
or day,
yeah,
I start getting a little nervous about
yeah.
how realistic that is.
We've seen some snippets of gameplay, like, we've seen what the game looks like and what it plays like,
Yeah.
but it was edited so fast that you really can't get an
Yeah. So like I
super
said, we
accurate
haven't
picture.
seen like a like super nailed down like gameplay trailer. We've seen some gameplay, but not
Yeah.
the amount that you would expect from a game that's coming out this year.
Yeah, we got a gameplay overview that was about 11 minutes long, and it had a lot of interviews spliced in with some gameplay. So you get to see what the game looks like and plays like, and it looks great, but just not enough to really have an accurate picture of how it feels to play in a demo and things like that. So Dory's totally correct. But that said, it's Playground Games. They're a quality developer. I think this
Yeah.
is their first time making a non Forza game, so that is a question, but they're a quality developer, and I totally respect them, and
Yeah.
I feel very confident that
This
they're gonna nail
this
this.
is not a case of a iffy developer is delaying a game that's kind of looks shoddy and you could have seen this coming a mile away. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe you could have seen this coming a mile away anyway, but it's for very different reasons, right? I
yeah,
saw someone on YouTube said like the difference between this delay and a lot of other people's delays is like this is because of GTA, right? Like even in the comments, they specifically name GTA. They say that's part of why they're moving it. The game is in great shape, but they
yeah,
want Fable to have the spotlight. And like Seb said, I don't play any of the Forza games, but they're all highly vaunted. Like they are all highly reviewed, well received. Like
yeah,
definitely a respected dev team. So this isn't me, Seb or I, or anybody else really who looks at this and be like, oh well, the game's crap.
yeah,
Then no, it's probably a case of they want to use GTA as an excuse to move the game up, so they have more time to tinker and patch it up and stuff like that, make it really ready to go once it's out. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a great idea. Their Forza games aren't for me, but that doesn't mean I don't respect what they do. Like they're obviously, like Seb said, a quality dev team. So
yeah,
I think this will do nothing but good things for Fable, even if it's a little bit of a bummer because I'm in that small minority that does not care about GTA 6 at all, and would rather be playing Fable than GTA 6. But I completely admit I'm in a very tiny minority, and they should not be catering to me. They should be catering to the mass, the absolute mass of people who are going to play GTA
yeah.
6.
Well,
So,
you can at least be objective and know to stay clear away from GTA because you know how big it's
yeah,
going to be.
absolutely.
Unlike, a Remedy, you see what they said about, like, "We're gonna put the new Control game next to GTA because we don't care, we're just gonna be a new game," people are not gonna care about GTA if they care about this
They
game.
really said that?
Essentially, yeah, they did say that.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
they said basically that, like, there's certain people that are gonna, like, wanna play Control because it's a completely different game, and they're gonna choose to play Control over that. I'm not sure, yeah, so, like, that is true that there are people that are going to prefer that over GTA, but you're just setting yourself up for massive failure, especially when you're a company that already has not sold very well and is
Yeah.
very,
I love Alan Wake too, but it did not sell very well.
yeah, nor did Control the first one. So,
Which is surprising because it was like IGN's Game of the Year and won a bunch of awards and got a
yeah,
lot of praise and
yeah.
weird.
Anyway,
But I
so
mean, I guess it's not that weird because they're a strange dev team in terms of
yeah,
the product they put out, which I think is good, but
yeah,
limits their mass appeal, obviously. Anyway, go ahead with what you were going to say.
yeah. And I love Remedy. I think they're a great developer and everything like
Yeah,
that.
same.
But yeah, you got to be honest with yourself. You don't put your game
Yep.
next to GTA. You're just setting yourself up. I totally agree with this decision by Microsoft or Playground Games, whoever's doing this. I'm assuming Microsoft more so because first of all, you're cannibalizing your own sales if you release this game in October, that's when Call of Duty comes out, or because I'm gonna assume that Call of Duty is gonna come out earlier than normal because usually Call of Duty comes out like what October I think. I mean November I think. So I think they're gonna move Call of Duty to October. get away from GTA. And so if you do that, where do you put Fable? You can't put it in October because of Call of Duty. You can't put it in, and then a bunch of other games coming out in October too, as you know. And then November is gonna be GTA, and then December is too late because people are still gonna be playing GTA, and also the Game Awards doesn't count, for the games in December. So I think this is the right decision on their end overall. So it was either that or release the game in the summer. Like September would have been a great month for it, or August, but the game probably still needs some polish and
Yeah.
final moments to clean up and things like that. So yeah, I think it's a good decision. I'm not upset about it. Fully expected it, and I think it's a good thing. I only think delays are an issue when it's a constant issue, and
Yeah.
it's because of like behind the scene issues,
It's
or you're in development hell or something like that. This
Yeah, I
game,
was just about to say, there's a difference between,
yeah,
like, developmental hell and just delaying a game once or twice so you can get a better handle on it. I mean, and even when you have developmental hell, there are still some situations like Dead Island 2 or Routine, where I don't even know if that would qualify as development. Yeah, I think it would actually. But or even arguably Kingdom Hearts 3, where you can still come out at the end of it and have a great game, although those are more rare, right? Developmental hell is called that for a reason.
yeah,
But yeah, this is not a case of that. This is the first delay, and I doubt there will be a second one. So,
yeah, agreed. I think I'm very confident this game is coming out in February now.
yep.
All right, ready to move on to the next topic?
Yeah,
All right, so let's move on to some other more negative news. So I'm going off The Verge. It says Valve has significantly increased the price of the Steam Deck, but now it's also in stock at least. The 512 gigabyte Steam Deck OLED now costs $789, up from $549, while the 1 terabyte model costs $949, up from $649. So I have the Steam Deck OLED, and I paid about that $700 for it. So the fact that this would cost $1,000 now is insane to me because you got to include tax and shipping and all that. I think they pay for shipping, but this at the very least the tax is adds up to like 1,000. So both models are available to buy on Steam with an estimated delivery date of 3 to 5 business days. And the company says the price increase is because of rising memory and storage costs. Nothing about the Steam Deck has changed, but these new prices reflect the current state of component cost and the other global logistical challenges across the industry as a whole. And it says, we'll keep you updated if anything changes. So obviously, this is horrible news
yeah,
for Valve and for the industry. I think still Steam Deck is in a fantastic handheld, and I strongly recommend people would get it before this. Now, I would never recommend people to get a Steam Deck at this point because that is way too expensive for that. It is 4 years old. It's outdated. Even when it first came out, the hardware was outdated. I would steer clear. I would steer clear from PC handhelds. Period. Right now, I
yeah.
think. I think
'Cause it's not just Valve doing this.
exactly. It's not just Valve doing it. The Lenovo was handheld. The Legion Go 2 was at is $2,000 now. The new MSI handheld they just revealed today, I think it was, is going to be $1,500. And yeah, the only one that hasn't gone up yet is Rogue LAX, but I'm sure that's going to go up at some point too.
Yeah,
So it's not a good time to buy a handheld PC handheld. I think if you're getting in the $1,000 to $1,500 range, I think you should start looking at laptops and desktops,
yes,
which are
yeah,
way stronger than handhelds. And I don't
and
know.
almost as portable, honestly. And you can easily get a laptop bag
Yeah,
specifically for, carrying a bag.
and I love handhelds. Don't get me wrong. I think PC
Yeah,
handhelds are great. I have an MSI Claw one, the 8 plus, and I also have a Steam Deck OLED. Those are the two I mainly use. And I have a laptop, and they all serve different purposes. Like I like playing Lego Batman on a handheld compared to like sitting at my computer sometimes. So it has its benefits, but this sucks. Steam Deck. The whole point of the Steam Deck was to be a cheap, portable device that was cheaper than PC gaming by a lot, that you can take on the go, that you can buy all your Steam games on. the whole appeal of Steam Deck was that it was $400 and it was affordable for a lot of people. And now you don't have that anymore because that's an
Fucking
insane price.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I want to note I got mine, which I showed off earlier on camera. October of last year, I paid $400. I actually only had to give a deposit of $80. So yeah, I only paid $400 for mine. Mine was a let's see if I can get the exact stuff. It was a Steam Deck, 256 gigabyte, not an OLED. But I don't value that stuff as much as Seb does. And also, I'm a cheapskate. I wanted the cheap model. And even then, that was a big purchase for me because I don't usually drop that much money. Yeah, it's a real bummer. I hate seeing Valve like this because I don't think they're one of those companies that with Sony and with Xbox, and I'm being super biased here. So I'll totally admit that. I don't think the CEOs actually care, but you could tell me that the Valve CEOs are not happy about doing this price jump, and I would believe you.
mm,
Like ultimately they're a company, they're a corporation, right? I mean, they have a non-traditional model compared to Sony and Xbox, but they are a corporation in a big company, right? Um, but I feel like this goes against a lot of what Valve typically does, which is very consumer friendly, very, like you said, the Steam Deck was originally supposed to be this more accessible console alternative that you can kind of hold in your, not maybe a console alternative,
handheld.
not the right, but yeah, a console, a supplementary handheld that is kind of cheaper. Maybe it's a little out of date, but it's still very doable. You can play Cyberpunk and Baldur's Gate 3 and all that stuff. Um and so yeah, it's just a huge bummer. I mean, there's really no right way around it. Jimmy Champagne, one of the YouTubers that I know, Seb and I both watch from time to time, got like roasted in the comments because he was like, it was like a little. He said it was like a little price increase, and everyone was like, Jimmy, that is not a little price
Three hundred
increase, dude.
dollars. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was being sarcastic. I didn't watch the whole
I
video.
think
I
he
just
probably
I was
was.
looking at the
Knowing his
comments,
personality, he's probably being
but
sarcastic.
yeah, probably was being sarcastic. He can be like that. But yeah, I think the big takeaway, and this was something that Seb was gonna hit on, so stolen valor right here. But this does not look good for the Steam machine, or the Steam frame for that matter. But I had these little threads of hope still that maybe the Steam machine would be under 1,000, maybe it would be $700 to $800. I think those are gone at this point. I think if Valve is doing this for a Steam Deck, which is not, and the Steam machine is twice as powerful, I think it's over. And I
Was it
I
like
think,
what they say like six times like six Steam Decks stacked and
and then if they
stacked top each
didn't,
other, whatever it
even
was.
if some grand fantasy happened and it was 700 800, which is the fantasy at this point, which is
Hmm.
sad because I used to think much lower. Um, they would look dumb, right? Because the Steam machine is 6 times as strong. So why would you even buy a Steam Deck, right? Then you would just get it, and then Valve's just undercutting their own products.
Yeah,
So there's just no winning at this point for them.
yeah. Valve is a small company compared to like Nintendo and PlayStation, and Sony and
Yeah,
Microsoft, and they only have like 20 people that make like the hardware or whatever it is, 20, 30 people. And they don't have the same partnerships as like Nintendo does, right? Like Nintendo can buy a huge bulk of Switches ready to go because they have the partnerships with people over the years. So it's cheaper for them. So Switch only went up $50. Uh, Unfortunately for Steam though, or Valve, is that they're a small company and it's more expensive for them to ship their stuff. So I get the price increase. With that said, y- increasing the Steam Deck OLED to $300 more is just a killer. It destroys the device. It's just not worth it for that price. Now, you can make a case that people are going to buy it anyway because the Steam Deck, as soon as it came available, sold out immediately. But I don't. I think that could be misleading because you don't know how much stock they actually had,
yeah,
and
exactly.
so I don't. I always buy into the everybody's just going to buy it. Right, I'm on Steam right now, and I'm looking right at it, and I can if I wanted a Steam Deck OLED, I could buy it right now. It's available right now. So,
Yeah,
as you mentioned, it worries me about the Steam machine. Well, actually, I'm not even worried anymore. I'm pretty much done. I have zero
yeah.
interest in it anymore. Because it's not going to be cheaper than the Steam Deck,
No way. Yeah,
obviously. So it's going to be in the thousands. It's gonna
I
be
don't know how reliable he is, but I was looking up Steam machine price just as a general inquiry and see if there anything. And yesterday, comicbook.com said via Jez Corden,
yeah,
who typically does Xbox stuff, but sometimes does stuff out of it,
yeah.
that heard originally it was going to be 1,000 from a very. I don't know how reliable Corden is, but I've heard that name before.
Oh yeah,
So
we've talked about Jez plenty of times. He works for Microsoft. Well, he works for Windows game. Was it Windows? Something like that.
yeah,
Windows
yeah,
Gaming.
Windows Central or something.
Windows Central. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Microsoft tells him stuff specifically, but I think with him though is sometimes they tell him half truths. So he tells them what Microsoft wants. He says what Microsoft wants
yeah,
them to say without leaving out certain things. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, he's somewhat reliable, and I can see that. Oh boy, if this thing is $1,200 to $1,500, that thing is dead on arrival.
yeah,
I would even question anyone that buys that. I mean, obviously, if you have like millions of dollars and you drive on yachts and you go to big fancy parties and and $1,500 is nothing to you, then yeah, I get that. But for the average person, we're talking the average person in this
no,
economy. If you're spending $1,500 on hardware that's just as the equal to a base PS5, I'm questioning your sanity. I just think that's a mistake.
yeah.
If you want to get into console gaming, um, but when you want to use your Steam library, people make their own PC, PC console. People, you can make your own. You can build your own PC for that price. You can buy a pre-built PC. You can buy a laptop and hook it up to your TV. There's so many other avenues to do that are
Yeah,
cheaper than that, and you would get way more power and efficiency and things like that. So I question anyone that spends $1,500 on a Steam machine. I'm
yeah,
assuming that's what it is. I mean, there's no way it's going to be cheaper than the Steam Deck OLED. There's just no way. So it's going to be at least 1,000. Even at $900, I said that's like pushing it like to the extreme. $1,000,
yeah. For
get the f out of
me,
here.
700 to 800 was the sweet spot,
Yeah,
and I just don't think that's realistic anymore with these price
absolutely.
increases.
I
As
mean,
far as I'm
yeah,
concerned,
go ahead.
I'm not getting a Steam machine, which sucks because I really wanted one. I
I
thought it
was
looked really
very interested in
cool.
it. Yeah,
I was interested in it as well, but honestly, and I know this would also suck, but I would just say Valve, just delay it as long as you can until things maybe get better, but I mean, maybe they never do. I don't know. I mean, I don't know
yeah,
how long the Rampocalypse is going to go. Obviously, there are some wars going on in the world that are also affecting things with oil. I mean, there's a
yeah,
lot going on globally right now. Maybe in 2 years things will be different. Wink, wink, hint, hint, nudge, nudge. But
yeah,
we don't know that. And as a company, I mean, they can't just have the shit just stay in the warehouse forever. So I don't
yeah.
know.
It's insane to me that the Steam machine could be more money than my gaming laptop. What I got on sale. My gaming laptop's a 4060, and like I
Yeah,
got it for 1,200, and it's way more stronger than the Steam machine. The fact that like the Steam machine could be only like $1,000 cheaper than my actual desktop 4080 that I got like for 2,200 is insane to me. Like, where I could play almost every game in ultra settings. I it's in like I honestly feel bad for Valve. Uh, I mean, this is a company, it's a corporation.
yeah.
That there is some form of corporate greed too. I'm sure, like that's just how companies are. But I do feel bad. It's just really bad timing. Um, so yeah, the Steam machine's dead to me. Unless it like surprises both of us and comes out way cheaper than we expect, and they just bite the bullet or something. And I just don't see that. They ever
And that feels like a big bullet to bite too.
Yeah, they've already said they're not gonna subsidize. Valve never does that anyway.
Yeah, which is such a mistake, especially in this. I mean, I get it, but I
Yeah,
mean, they're not the fledgling company they used to be. I feel like they can bite that bullet, but whatever.
I think they can. I think they're a big company now at this point. Gabe has like 5 yachts, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Um, so they're not. I don't view them as like, oh, woe is me. They're like Team Cherry or something. Like this is like they're not Microsoft big, but they're not like the little man either. So let's not like do that either.
Yeah,
Make them the victim because
sure.
they're the ones increasing the price by $300. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
But we can still sympathize that it's a tough situation for sure. So
Yeah.
because they're
I think you can have, in this case, I would call it like critical sympathy.
yeah,
Like I have some sympathy for Valve, but also like they're a multi-million-dollar company or something like that, right? Like
yeah.
they're going to be fine if they did subsidize it, but they're choosing not to, which I think sucks.
Yeah,
So
and then the Steam frame is going to be ridiculously priced too, and
I
it's
can't even imagine. And VR is already in such a tough spot. I
yes,
just feel like this just makes it even
it's
worse.
already niche, and the fact that I mean I think the MetaQuest 3 went up in price too already, but I think VR is already small, but I think a lot of people that are into VR already have a MetaQuest at this point. So if the Steam frame is like $1,200 or something like that, it's not that much better, if at all better, than the MetaQuest 3 to even jump and spend $1,200 on a new headset. So even that's dead on arrival. It's already a niche product. Now you're way overpriced in the whole market, right? Because this
Yeah.
MetaQuest 3 is not $1,200. Even with the price increase, it's not even close to that. So you just completely priced yourself out of that market too. I mean, I'm assuming the price is gonna be that much. I don't know, but that's a safe. But the last point, I'm just glad that I got all my technology and hardware bought and taken care of, and I'm not going to be buying any hardware for a good while now. I'm
Yep.
glad to have my laptop and my handhelds and my desktop. My 4080 should last me a long time. I am not touching anything hardware wise in a long in quite a while. So it is what it is. I was doing that anyway. I don't buy hardware every year anyway. Only people that do that are people that have that kind of money. I'm on a teacher salary. Even if I was, I still think that's not financially responsible to upgrade a new PC every freaking year. That's not the
Yeah.
point. It's just a shame that, you know, in gaming, we're always told to wait because the people that wait always benefit the most because things get cheaper over the years.
Yep.
And that's sadly not been the case this generation. The
Yep.
Xbox Series X and the PS5 are more expensive now than they were 6 years ago. So I actually saved money by buying it day one, like I did pre-ordering the PS5.
Yeah, I bought my PS5 in 2021, I wanna say,
Yeah,
not long after
I
the
remember that.
stimulus packages.
I remember that.
So, yeah, I saved money as well, which is nuts.
It's insane, right? But
Yeah,
in our generation, our lifetime, 5 years into the generation, the console's like $150 cheaper, $200 cheaper. Get it used. You
yeah,
benefited from waiting. Now, don't get me wrong, games are still like that. If you wait for games, you'll still get them like $30 cheaper, but games is not hardware. Obviously, games are not affected as much by
and it's not even all games because, well,
not
I guess
Switch,
you
but
could, yeah, for Switch, but, I mean, I guess there are some ways maybe you could try to find cheaper stuff, but it gets iffy.
so yeah, it's really sad what's going on, and again, I had a feeling about the Switch too with the tariffs going on and everything that's why one of the reasons I bought it day one because I had a feeling, but at least it's
Yeah,
only going up $50, so I don't think that's that bad. I think the Switch 2 really benefits from this Steam Deck price going up because I mean, obviously, Steam Deck's not even competing with Nintendo. The Switch One is the highest selling console of all time, basically, um, and and the Steam Deck only sold like 8 million units, while the Switch sold like 180 million or something, whatever it was. So it's not even the same atmosphere. But the Switch Two looks like the best deal for handhelds right now. You're basically getting a really good console for $500 in comparison to every other handheld being $1,200 to $1,500. So Nintendo's eating good right now,
yep.
ironically. So ironically. All right. I think that's everything for this topic. You ready to move on?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So let's get into our state of play predictions. Now, when I say our, it's really me and Dory's just gonna bounce off what I say.
Yeah,
But
because Seb was like, "I have a bunch of predictions for the state of play. Do you have any?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't give a shit what Sony does. I don't really care." So that's hyperbole. I do care, especially about Wolverine. But I already knew they were going to talk about Wolverine, so it's like whatever, you know. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm still excited to talk about it, and I love a good state of play. So
Plus, a lot of these games are going to be on PC. So when I talk
Yes,
about that,
exactly.
I'm also talking about PC. Um, but I am this summer because I'm off for the summer now. I am committed to catching up on some exclusives that on PS5 that I've missed. Because my PS5 has been collecting dust outside college football. Because college football
Yep.
is not on PC. I am going to play Ghost of Yotai and
Yeah.
Saros this summer at some point.
Yeah, let me know how Saros is. I was really tempted to check it out, but I have a feeling it'll kick my ass. But yeah,
Well, apparently, there's a lot of great modifiers that make the game way easier and more
I did say
accessible.
that they have like a Hades type system where you
They
can
do
kind of yeah
even
make it.
yeah even more
You,
accessible than Hades, actually.
okay, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah. All right. So honestly, it's not just predictions, but this is actually what I think is going to be at the show, and I think a lot of these are realistic. I think most of these are legitimately what you're going to see at the show, or because I always go for the practical route. I don't go for like the home runs like people do. I don't think like we're gonna get Kingdom Hearts 4 and Code Veronica remake and things like that. I don't think that's realistic. I do think Code Veronica remake will be revealed this summer, at possibly at Summer Game Fest, because for Capcom seems to be putting other reveals at Jeff shows now. So
Yeah,
I think there's a strong possibility you'll see Code Veronica remake teased at least at opening night of Summer Game Fest. I don't think you'll see that at Summer Game Fest. So that's my first prediction, I suppose, that you won't see Code Veronica remake at this state of play. You agree with that?
yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know when we're gonna hear about it. I would imagine a Capcom showcase or, like you said, maybe something more Xbox focused. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect to see it here because we've only had like solid, really solid rumors in the past couple of months, three few months. So
Yeah. I, but there is the slight possibility because Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4 remakes have all been revealed at the state of play. So,
sure, that's true.
but at the same time, Requiem was revealed at the Game Awards. So we'll see. I do feel confident that Code Veronica remake will be coming out next year. I think that's a safe bet. Because Resident Evil games do come out pretty close to each other. It's not like we get a new game every 5 years. Resident Evil 2 remake came out in 2019, and then 2020 was Resident Evil 3 remake, and then 2022 was Resident Evil 4 remake. So those are like, and then in 2021 was Resident Evil Village. So you basically had like Resident Evil games 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
Or was it Resident Evil 4 2022? I don't know. Resident Evil 4 remake was 2023, I think. But either way, we got Resident Evil games 4 out of the 5 years. That's right, Dory, right? Like Resident Evil 4 came out in 2023. I think that's right.
I thought it was 2024, but you might be right.
Or is it 4? I feel like
All
it was
right.
3.
Let me look it up and you keep talking.
Yeah.
2023, you're right.
Yeah.
Or yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we got Resident Evil games 4 out of the 5 years, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that a Resident Evil game, because we got Requiem this year, that a new Resident Evil game will be next year, because like they come close to each other. So they work. Capcom's a giant company, and they can work on multiple projects at the same time. Anyway, another prediction, and actually, I feel pretty strong that we're going to see it here, is Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. I think you will see it
Mm,
here. I think it's time. Hamaguchi said he beat the game 40 times already. He's played it.
I forgot he said that.
So I think it's done, or at least near done, and I think it's ready to go. I think it's ready to be revealed. If not like a whole gameplay showcase, or like not showcase, but like a whole gameplay trailer or something. I think at the very least it's teased, it's shown like some snippet, just to hype everybody up, kind of thing. And then they can be like, here's a tease. We'll do like a little showcase later on in the year to really dive deep into it. Do you think you're gonna see that at the state of play?
Yeah, I totally forgot Hamaguchi said that. But yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of seeing Final Fantasy then and there. We haven't heard anything. So I think yeah, the time is right for at least a teaser, if not a full on trailer.
Yeah,
Maybe not a release date, but maybe we get a vague one. Maybe.
something just like a tease, just like here
Yeah.
it's coming. Because what
It's coming eventually.
it's been 2 years, right, since the
We
last
spent
one.
we spent a whole country's GPA on it.
Yeah, it's been 2 years, right,
Or
since Rebirth.
I think so. Yeah, GPD by the way, not GPA. Yeah, GDP, man, it's
Yeah,
too many
GDP.
acronyms.
Yeah,
Yeah,
GDP.
GDP,
Yeah.
gross domestic product. I
I
know
was
what I'm
like,
talking about.
grade point average. I was thinking like, what?
Yeah, no,
Yeah, but it's been like 2 years and,
yeah,
since we already got like, a lot I'm sure they've been working on part 3 at the same time as part 2.
I believe they said they were. Yeah,
And then they're reusing assets, I'm sure. I mean, they already have the world built. So, yeah, it makes sense that it comes out faster than the other 2, for sure. I'm excited for this. Final Fantasy VII is top 5 favorite game for me, and Dory, I don't even think you know the ending and how like everything plays out and
I don't.
all the
Nope.
crazy stuff that happens. So there's a whole big final act 3 big moments that they're going to be exciting to see in 4K. So I'm very excited for this game. Um, Now, do you think it's going to be timed exclusive for PlayStation again, or do you think it's going to be multi-platform?
I don't think so. Only because Square has kind of said or made motions towards that being a mistake.
Yeah,
And so I can see them not doing that. And that's what I would love. I would love for them to not do a timed exclusive because I really don't want to play it on PS5 unless I absolutely have to.
yeah,
I'll do it, but I don't want to.
I agreed. I think it's going to be multi-platform because Square Enix just lost a lot of money, and they've basically already said that all their games can be multi-platform. I don't think they benefit from being exclusive for a year with Sony. Also, it never seemed like they were happy with the sales of Final Fantasy with Sony. Like, but it's hard to say because it seems like they were setting unrealistic expectations anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I wrote all about this on my blog, Second Chance and Once More. Like Square is like the king, queen, and jester of like having way too high of sales expectations for all their games. Like so many of them, they say did not meet sales expectations. So
what does that even mean? Like, they expected to sell 20 million, and it's a failure if they
yeah,
did.
they're yeah, and it's so purposefully vague and hidden behind things that we'll never be able to see, numbers we'll never be able to know.
Yeah,
So it's frustrating. It's a frustrating dismissal that we don't really have enough information on.
right. Now, this is not the prediction because we're going to see it for sure. It's already guaranteed. We're going to see Wolverine.
Yep.
We already know the release date. I think the big thing is they're just gonna reveal that you can pre-order it that day, like starting that day. You can be able to get it now. So I'm day one on Wolverine already. I'm very sold
Yep.
on it. It's Insomniac. I trust them. I love Wolverine. Very very excited for that game. It should be my
Yep.
top 10 games if everything pans out. I would
It's
assume.
it is literally my PS5 is like if my kind of life is we're getting a very tortured metaphor, get it ready everybody. If
Yeah,
my life was like the Titanic, my PS5 is like on like one of the life rafts and like it's barely clinging and Wolverine's like the one that's keeping it afloat, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's
Terrible metaphor.
it's screaming Jack and
I
it's about to
also just
drown.
compared my life to the Titanic, I realized as I was halfway through my metaphor, but it's not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the point is I'm very excited for Wolverine and I it is the reason I still have a PS5. If I didn't, plus them rolling back the PS5 exclusivity. So, I mean, now I really can't I really have to keep my PS5 until they just stop making PS5 games, I guess, or do PS6 exclusives. God help me.
What scares me is if PS6 exclusives are there and PS6 ends up being $1,200, and I'm not buying
Fucking hell.
I'm not
Uh,
buying a $1,200
yeah, and I'm not
PS6.
doing that either.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. All right, the next prediction. There's a lot of smoke to this rumor that I'm actually confident that we're going to see it. Is the new God of War game starting Faye, which is Kratos' wife. There's been a lot of smoke to this, and I've seen multiple showcases, shows, and podcasts talk about this. There's a new God of War game coming out, starring Kratos' wife Faye. We don't know what kind of game it's going to be at all, but it sounds like it's happening. They did say they're working
Is
on
it like
like
a prequel or something?
I don't know. We really don't
Okay.
know anything about it. But I assume that it's a prequel because spoiler,
Yeah.
she's dead. But
Yeah, right?
but yeah, there's a big storyline her being a giant and everything like that. So I'm curious what kind of game it's going to be. Is this going to be like a triple A third person action adventure game like God of War, or is it going to be like a different spin off? We did get a new God of War game recently, the Sons of Sparta, that 2D Metroidvania game, which I still have to play too. Actually, now that I think about it, I skipped that. maybe waiting for a PC release, but now that's not happening. So I still have to play that too. You have any interest in that?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, I've got at least some kind of interest in it. I can't claim to be like an expert on the God of War series, but from everything that I've seen from Santa Monica in recent years, yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm a big God of War fan. It's my favorite PlayStation franchise, and but with that said, I did not expect a Faye game to be worked on.
Yeah, that does feel kind of out of left field, but it's also like I expected like a Loki game or something,
Yeah,
but I guess
exactly.
that's not what we're gonna do.
I was expecting a
Um,
sequel where you play as Atreus, like
yeah,
growing up and like learning how to be independent and things like that. Maybe that's
yeah.
still happening, but as of right now, it seems like we're getting
I mean, it
a
could be like
prequel.
an interstitial too, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Like it could be something they're placing in between.
yeah. I think I still yeah exactly. I think they're big enough to do that to work on multiple projects at once. They're one of the
Yeah,
Sony's biggest studios. I do think we're still getting an Atreus game at some point, and there's been rumors about the next game taking place in Egypt. There's been a lot of smoke to that rumor too.
yeah.
I just worry that they're dragging the series out a little too much, and I don't want them to go to every single mythology at this point. Like, are we gonna start doing Christianity too? And
He's so funny. I need Santa Monica's take on Jesus, please.
yeah, like Kratos and Jesus like work
I
together.
can't I can't wait for Kratos to say, and also with you. That's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah, Kratos like because Kratos found peace at the end of Ragnarok, so like
Yep.
him and Jesus just like have a
He's- like I found a good book, and he's like, "No, it's the good book."
Kratos becomes
Even better if you
Christian.
got to kill.
Oh
Even
my
better
god.
if you got to kill Jesus. Oh man,
Oh no,
woo!
that would piss so many people off
I know
that
it'd be so amazing.
they would never do that.
I know, I know, I know.
But yeah, this game.
Now if he
Yeah.
goes after Muhammad anyway.
Oh, that too. No, I just don't want them to go too far and like go to every mythology and because I guess they would go to China and Japan and like I don't. It just gonna get a little silly to go to every different country and things like
Yeah,
that. Don't drag the franchise out like that. I think I would stick with the Nordic and let it focus on Atreus. Anyway, but yeah, I'm interested in it. We'll see what kind of game it is. I'm pretty certain we're gonna see it though, for sure.
sounds good.
All right. There's a game coming out called Break In, or apparently Fair Games got its name changed to Break In. That seems like it'd be a rumor, but I'm not sure how true that is or not. I don't. It doesn't really matter to me. I have zero interest in that game,
Same.
so we don't have to talk about that. But I wanted to mention it. There's been some smoke. People are speculating. I don't think this is true, but Carnage might appear in Marvel Tokon as a character. That would be really cool because Carnage is one of my favorite. He's my favorite Spider-Man villain, so that would be cool. But yeah, now the Venom one, apparently there's a Venom game coming out, or being worked on by Insomniac because they're wizards and they can work on all these games at the same time. And there was some reports. I think it was like from Jason Schreier or whatever about like Tony Todd's death. Actually, no, I think it was like I think was it Jason Schreier was like said no, that's not true that they canceled it. It was like it is still happening or something like that because
Yeah.
there was rumors that because Tony Todd died that they're going to cancel the Venom game, but it seems like it's still happening. It's still being worked on. So is there a chance that we see the Venom game at this showcase?
Yeah, I mean, they could be balancing both of them. That could also explain why Wolverine's taken so long, besides obviously the leaks. But that could partially explain why it's taking them so long because they're working on two projects at once. But I mean, we just don't know, or at least I don't know.
Yeah, because Jason Schreier is very reliable. Like when he says something, I tend to believe
Yeah,
it.
it's usually true. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's right here.
Yeah, I mean he could be a little snippy with people and stuff like that, but when it comes to, like reporting himself, like he's great.
Yep.
So we'll see. I'm trying to look it up to see if like if Jason Schreier is the one that said it's happening or he said it's not happening, and then they spoke out against that.
Yeah, I don't know personally. I have I you're way more tuned into the reporting and stuff than I am.
Yeah. He said, okay, Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier has said about the Venom game cancellation, this isn't true. Okay, so I was right. So Jason said the cancellation was not true, that it's still happening.
Okay.
So we'll see. I don't feel strong that we're gonna see it here because I think it might be a mistake to do two games in the same showcase from Insomniac. They don't want to overshadow Wolverine's hype with another game of theirs, right? That'd be a
Yeah.
mistake. But I think there's a possibility, so I'll just say that. So if I had to like gun to my head, I would say it's not going to be shown at the showcase because I don't think they want to overshadow Wolverine because obviously that's their biggest game right now coming out.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm sure you agree with that. So,
Yeah.
all right, I
Yeah,
think
they don't wanna undercut themselves. We've been talking to I think that's the 3rd time we brought up publishers or devs undercutting themselves, and Insomniac
exactly,
definitely doesn't wanna do that.
exactly. I think we might see Ghost of Yotai DLC, like, and I don't mean like a multiplayer expansion. I mean like a single player expansion. Like Ghost of Tsushima got that too, and that DLC was really cool, and it had some cool, cool moments with like spirits and things like that. Did you play that DLC?
I didn't. I never got around to it. It's really hard for me to get back into
Yeah.
playing PS5 or playing. I was very happy with the way Yote ended. I didn't really need DLC unless it was specifically tied into like Atsu's journey, which I don't think it is. So
Yeah, I didn't play the game yet, but I could probably put the storyline seems pretty standard. I can probably figure out what happens at the end. I don't think it does anything crazy, so I'd imagine it ends on a good note. Where do you go from there? But I do think there's a possibility because they've got to be working on something, right? Sucker Punch,
yeah,
and
you would think.
so this one I'm not really sure on. I'll just say there's a chance. So these are not like predictions. This is more like this is more like a speculation. The best way I would word it, right? Because I'm not predicting. We're definitely going to see it. I think there's like a chance we're going to see that. There's a lot of smoke to this rumor, but apparently Infamous 1 and 2 are getting remakes.
I've heard that as
I
well.
keep seeing people talk about this. It's either that or a remake of another IP. Like there's some older IP from Sony that's being worked on right now. They had a great studio for that remakes games. I wonder what happened to them.
Hmm. If it was a studio under Sony, 50-50 chance.
Yeah, because I've heard this rumor for a while now. Um, but a lot of it just felt like people like just hoping and coping,
Yeah, wishful thinking.
wishful thinking. But I think the smoke is starting to get pretty thick with this one. That I think it's probably true, and I think it's time to bring Infamous back. Now I don't think Sucker Punch is doing it. Seems like someone else is doing it.
Yeah,
But
I
either
don't think Sucker Punch has any interest in doing anything except continuing the Ghost series.
Yeah, even then, I think they're done with the Ghost series. I think they're gonna do a new IP
Mm,
next. But either way, they've already said they only want to do one IP at a time. Uh,
right, so it wouldn't matter.
it wouldn't matter anyway. And I think they're done with Sly Cooper permanently,
Yeah, they like
and
making little
Infamous.
references to their previous games, but I don't think they're similar to Naughty Dog. I don't think they're ever going back.
Right, right. So, well, the thing is, Naughty Dog has done multiple sequels. They got 4 Uncharted's or 5 Uncharted's and 3 Jack and
Yeah, six
Daxters.
six if you want to count the game that we're going to spotlight
3
today.
Crashes. Yeah, Naughty Dog's done a
Yeah,
lot of sequels. Sucker Punch, not they did what the first 3 Sly Coopers, and then the fourth one was made by somebody else.
yeah,
And they did Infamous 1 and 2, and they did that Blood one too, the vampire one.
yeah. And they did do the one in Portland as well, right? The one in the Northwest, the one for the
Oh yeah,
PS4 or something.
First Son, yeah,
If yes, yeah, yeah.
and
So they
First
did
Light.
that as well.
Was it well, not
First
First Light?
Light.
Yeah, for speaking of First Light,
Forgot that one was called First Light too,
yeah,
as
that,
well.
that threw me off a little bit when I was playing the game. I was like, wait a minute, was there another game called First Light? Like, it sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I got the platinum for that one. I remember the whole game was just like a big stage, and you just fought a bunch of enemies. It was like a bunch of waves of enemies.
yeah,
That was like the entire game. All right. I also speculate that we're gonna see a new a Media Molecule game, and I think it's gonna be like a single player. adventure game. I don't think it's going to be like another Dreams or something. I've heard rumors that it's going to be open world. I'm not sure on that one, but I do think it's time for Media Molecule to actually do something. They have to be
Yeah,
working on something, right? I
they've been
mean,
limbo since Dreams.
yeah, you can play Limbo in Dreams, I'm sure. So,
Yeah.
it's time.
Yeah, 6 years.
I don't know how they're still alive, to be honest with you. Of all the studios that Sony's can't not canceled yet, I'm shocked that they're still going.
Well,
But I
I was
think,
gonna make this joke earlier, but it works now too. I'm sorry, Seb, but they have to spend $700 million on Bungie. That they gotta make up for that. So
yeah,
they're too busy with their best buddies, Bungie. And by the way, I'm not advocating for anybody to lose their jobs. I just think
yeah.
it's fucking ridiculous that
I'm just
they're losing
confused.
so much money on one studio.
Yeah, I'm just confused how they're still going. But I imagine Mini Molecule is cheap and their games are not expensive to make.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not like Dreams was a AAA budget game. Respectfully,
yeah, but
a
even then
AAA
though, like,
budget game.
where's the money coming in from them? Like, where are you making your money from them?
They haven't done anything since 2020, which is nuts.
Because you closed Blue Point Games and a bunch of other studios, but you kept Media Molecule going. It's just
Yeah, I don't get
weird.
it.
It's just weird. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hoping they go out of business, and I don't want people to lose their job. I'm not saying that. I'm just speculating from an objective standpoint. All right. Do you think Media Molecule's gonna have a new game revealed?
I wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't surprise me too much because it's been 6 years. It's been 3 years since they stopped. I was just looking this up. Stopped support of Dreams officially. Which wow, that's a fucked up sentence. They stopped officially supporting Dreams. Devs, maybe be careful about what you entitle your games, especially if they're going to have long term support. Maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they also I'm reading went under a lot of talent and budget cuts in 2023. So whatever they're making is going to be with a much smaller team. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't surprise me if they do something. Maybe they go back to their roots and do more of a platformer.
Yeah, like Little Big Planet again. Not that franchise, but like
Right.
something like
But
it.
maybe
Yeah.
something similar to it, a spiritual successor or something. Maybe that way they're
Yeah.
not tied down by that universe.
Which is good because Sony can't always do AAA big budget games because those take like 6 years to make. So you need to balance it
Yeah.
out. All right. There's a lot of rumor about the next Uncharted game being made by Ben Studios, which is the people that made Days Gone. And I'm not sure how true that is. I think there's a slight possibility because again, I've seen some smoke about that rumor. Do you think there's a chance of that?
I don't know. I had no idea Ben Studio was even considered, or that there were rumors that they were considering it. Um, I know from a quick look that Ben Studio was leading an Uncharted revival before the live service project was announced, and then I think it was scrapped. So maybe they're doing something. Ben Studio, that's the one that did the zombie game, right? The one with the freakers, or is that something
Yeah.
else I'm thinking of?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
freakers,
okay.
the motorcycle one, right?
I don't think I've ever played any of their games, question mark.
Hmm.
I could be wrong about that. I've certainly not played the most famous one that they're known for. Yeah, they did Siphon Filter, which I never played
Well,
any of those games.
Siphon Filter is what they're best known for, which is a classic PlayStation franchise.
Oh, they did. Okay, so they did. So this is why they did Uncharted Golden Abyss and Fight for Fortune
Yeah, they did
in
Uncharted
2011
before,
and 2012.
right? I played that on the Vita.
Was it any good?
Yeah, it's solid. It's a good game,
Okay,
actually. It's one
good.
of the best Vita
And then
games.
of course they did Days Gone, which is the game I was talking about. They also did Bubsy 3D. Yikes.
Yep.
So
Well,
holy shit.
I don't think they did. I don't think they did that one. Like, I think they did the remaster or something like of it. I want to
Oh,
say
maybe it says 1996 PlayStation, but maybe I'm wrong.
maybe they helped with it because I'm looking at their main Wikipedia page for it, and it says different people, different developer, different publisher on it.
Yeah, but anyway, they've had a storied career. Yeah, I
It's an
mean it makes more sense now that I know about the PS Vita games that they
yeah.
did.
They're moving for Siphon
I don't
Filter.
know. Honestly, I don't know that I need another Uncharted game. I was pretty happy with the way things left off, unless they're going to continue it with Nathan with his daughter. I that's the only like shoot off I could think, not even spin off, but like the way I could see to keep the main series going is to have his daughter as like a young adult, like a
Well,
like a
yeah,
18 or 20 or something like that, taking over the mantle. Otherwise, I just don't
yeah.
feel like it's necessary.
Well, just a review because I'm looking at like refreshing my mind. They did get taken off the Uncharted project, so it won't be an Uncharted project. But apparently, they are
Oh, okay.
working on a project with Naughty Dog right now. So
Okay,
I don't know what that
interesting.
I don't know what that means. That could still be Uncharted because Naughty Dog owns Uncharted. So I don't know. But what does that mean? Is it another studio? Now there's I didn't write this down, but there is a good amount of smoke about a Jack and Daxter remake being worked on. So is that Ben Studio working on that, which Naughty Dog also owns? So are we getting a Jack and Daxter remake or remaster? I've seen some photos or video or whatever it was. I think it was a photo of Jack and Daxter looking like 4K using like more updated graphics. I don't know if that was real or not. Is that what it is? We'll see. But yeah, so I don't think we're gonna see this game at PlayStation Showcase, their state of play. I don't think it's gonna be Uncharted if it is a Ben Studio game. But it is time for Ben Studio to do something. It's been what
20. It's been 7 years.
7 years? 2019, I
Another
believe now
studio
was.
where it's like I don't. Again, not calling for anyone's jobs to be lost, but I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, it said because it says as of June 2021, they were working on a new IP,
Yeah,
and then they changed their logo, and then they were working on a live service game that got canceled,
canceled. Yeah, I was just about to say that's part of why it's been so long.
And then Ben Studio laid off 30% of their staff, which is like around 40 employees.
It's like a lot of the studios that haven't been closed down by Sony have lost a lot of their staff. Like first it was Media Molecule, and now it's them. I
Yeah,
mean, and there's probably other ones too.
yeah. Ben Studio is kind of on their last legs, honestly. I think with Sony, I think Sony does keep them around though because they're historic with them. Like they've been with Sony for a very long time,
Yeah,
since
I'm gonna go
2000.
get some water. Keep talking.
Yeah, so we'll see. All right. So I fully expect to see Kana, Scars of Cosmora, be revealed at the state of play. I think we will get a release date because then we don't have one yet. I think it's time for a release date. Should be this year. Dory, I'm talking about Kana, the new Kana. I think we're gonna see a release date, and
It looked pretty damn finished to me
yeah,
last time we saw it.
I'm confident it's coming out August, September, October, like around that time. Like that just sounds right to me. Um,
I think September sounds good. You want to keep it as far away from GTA as you can,
yeah, September just seems perfect.
while still giving devs plenty of time to work
Yeah,
it out.
September sounds perfect for that game. I think it just
I
sounds right.
agree.
It just sounds right. So,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Or August, that'd be fine too. Yeah. So I think we're both in agreement that we're going to see that at the state of play, and we'll probably get a release date.
Have they announced what platforms that's coming for?
Yeah, it's coming to PC and PlayStation.
Oh, okay, they're good. I'm getting it on PC for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the first one. I just felt like it needed better combat and better game design, better boss design specifically. But yeah, I'm excited for the sequel. Hopefully they make it even better.
Yeah, let me just verify that really quick. Platforms. It's
Yeah, I mean
coming
it's
to
basically
yeah.
Disney and Ghibli put together.
Yeah, so it's coming to
Some Zelda.
yeah, it's coming to PS5 and PC. That's it.
Okay.
It probably come to Xbox in a year or whatever it was, because it took Kano a long time to come to Xbox. All right, uh, this gonna be a little faster. I think we're gonna see Star Wars Zero Company because that game's coming out this year. We're gonna see it at the state of play for
Yep.
sure. I'm excited for that. It's like XCOM with Star Wars. Exciting. I think we're gonna see Rev Noir, which is that RPG we saw from Konami. It looked okay. But I do think we're gonna see it. And just a reminder that's coming out. I do think we're gonna see Silent Hill Townfall because that's coming out this year, and it's from Annapurna and everything, and we know it's coming out this year, and we got to see some gameplay and a showcase for it and things like that, and Silent Hill 2 remake, and I think Silent Hill 1 remake was shown at the state of play, right? The trailer. No, that was in the Konami showcase. But I think we're gonna see a Silent Hill at a PlayStation state of play because it's a Japanese game studio. So I think you'll see it at the state of play. You agree with that? You expecting to see Silent Hill Townfall?
Yeah, I think some more news on Silent Hill, especially after the big in detailed look that we got last time.
Yeah,
I would expect a release window, if not a release date.
yeah. And I expect to see Onimusha and Way of the Sword and Phantom Blade Zero, both at the show. It feels like those
Yep.
feel like those are going to be shown at a Japanese PlayStation, showcase. Um, we already know Phantom Blade's coming out this year. It has a release date, and we know Onimusha's coming out this year as well. I'm very excited for both of those games. We got some serious bangers coming out in the second half of this year.
Yeah. I really hope they for Phantom Blade Zero specifically. I hope they announce a sequel, not a sequel, a demo is what I meant to say.
Yeah,
And that would be really great.
yeah, that's possible at this show. Now, I think we're going to see Control Rust in it here. Are we going to get a release date or at least a launch window? What do you think? You think we're going to see that
I
there?
could see I could see either. I'll be more conservative and say my gut is telling me a window, just because we've seen a decent amount of gameplay and a decent amount of like look at the game, but nothing like I don't know. I don't want to say anything super detailed. But
No.
yeah, I mean, we could definitely get an actual release date, and I would be happy. But either way, I mean, they said it was coming out this year, right?
Yeah. This is 2026.
Yeah, I
They're even
I'm getting
confident,
like Fable. I'm getting Fable vibes. Like I don't know. I don't
but
know
they're
about that.
like I said earlier, they were confident that they could compete with GTA because they said we're going to put it near GTA and not care.
Yeah, so maybe they'll do a release window or they'll backtrack and like they'll give a release date, but it will be in like late October, like Alan Wake was, I think. Wasn't Alan Wake in October?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds right.
so maybe they'll put it in like late October or something like a month before GTA 6 or some shit. I don't know.
That makes sense. Like that, I think that's okay if it's like a month
Yeah.
before. Now,
I think so too, but maybe Remedy will like kind of try to like do a little backtracking without like fully like like oh we're still kind of close to GTA 6, but I don't know. Maybe they'll put it in early November, like a week or two before GTA 6. I don't know.
but then Alan Wake 2 came out in 2023 in October, and that wasn't like a bunch of games in October, and
Yes, that was very
there
busy.
was just too many games around it. Like, wasn't Spider Man 2 like right next to it? Wasn't Spider Man 2 like right next to it?
I believe so. Yeah,
Spider Man 2 came out October 20th, so 1 week before Alan Wake 2. Like, no wonder why Alan Wake 2 didn't sell well. Also because it was
yeah,
exclusive to Epic and everything like that. But uh, Remedy, get on your lesson here, Remedy. Just don't set your game up for failure. You're already, don't sell very well. Why are we doing this?
yeah. I don't get it.
What's the
It's just
rush?
not smart. Especially, it's like it's like Gorilla. Like they did this
Oh
shit with
yeah,
Horizon. Like I don't understand why you would shoot your own franchise in the foot.
yeah. The first one came next to Breath of the Wild, and the second one came next to Elden Ring. I mean, are you kidding
Bro.
me? So just put your game next to Horizon, and your game will be a Game of the Year contender, and
That's right.
sell
And make
million
sure it has Jennifer English in it too, just to like be double sure that it'll be game of the year.
guaranteed for sure. All
Yeah.
right. Will we see Judas at this show State of Play? Because apparently Sony has marketing rights to this game, and it's time. I mean, this game has to come out. I mean, it's been
It, if it doesn't come out, I'm officially, if I wasn't already worried, I'm officially worried. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully Ken Levine isn't busy sinking another studio. He's a notoriously difficult guy to work with. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in this game, but it just feel like he's trying to do another shock, System Shock, BioShock, now this, but thank God they
yeah,
took out the shock, I guess.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see a release date. I'm not sure like at this point how interested I am, but I would like to be this is a game like I want to be interested in, but I need to see a release date. I need to see more gameplay. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Levine is amazing, and Bioshock is a masterpiece and like top 20 game of all time for me and everything like that. But these kind of games always make me worried when there's like silence and it never lives up to the hype that people hype it up to be. Like Bioshock has such a high bar. How do you even come close to that? So it's tough. Even Bioshock itself couldn't match the first game really. So
Right. Yeah, the BioShock 2 is not as good as the first one.
yeah, and then the third one was a good game, but it wasn't as good as the first one either. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. If we even get half of these, it'd be a great show. Obviously, there's gonna be a bunch of
For
indie
sure.
games and stuff we'll get that we don't know about or anything like that, or just reminders that we already know about. I mean, I'm sure we'll know about it because we follow the industry pretty close. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd be happy with this show. Do you think you'll see Kingdom Hearts 4?
I was just gonna make a fucking joke about it. God damn it. Um,
I mean, it's
I am
time.
readying my clown. I am readying my clown makeup. I want to believe that something is going to happen. But the good news is if they do a Square, I'm getting the Pepe Sylvia corkboard out. If Square does announce that they are completed in production with the new Final Fantasy game, that means that they can pick their old toys up and they can say, okay, now we really devote time to Kingdom Hearts 4. But I don't know. I simply don't know. The few Kingdom Hearts people I follow on social media just are just, this feels kind of worse in a way than Kingdom Hearts 3. Just because we've been here before, but it's still so tough. The Kingdom Hearts community is in the trenches, goddamn trenches. Now again, we've been here before, but that doesn't mean it's any better, really. If
Yeah,
anything, it feels worse.
yeah,
Especially because there's not as much, sorry, just because there's not as much reason for them to be so radio silent about this. The most we've gotten was, I think, the 20th anniversary. Nomura posted some photos and of like to prove that it's still ongoing. But I don't know what's going on with Square. They simply either don't want to communicate, or the Tokyo the team that's in charge of it, I can't remember. It's not the Tokyo team anymore. That was Cage too. Is just non incommunicado. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on. So yeah, I'm always gonna say yes. We're gonna see Kingdom Hearts 4 just because I'm delusional, and I would love to see it. But do I realistically think it's gonna happen? There's no I don't I feel like somebody would have said something at this point. Something would have gotten out if Kingdom Hearts 4, like there would have been some smoke, but there's just nothing. I think once Square is done with Final Fantasy the 7, the trilogy, and it's done with production, I think then they might focus their I think, it's a separate team. So obviously I'm not saying all resources are going to Final Fantasy, but I think they're kind of like they're really focusing on that, the whole GDP thing. And then once that's done, they will, move back to Kingdom Hearts 4 and finish
right.
development on that. So that's my theory. But hey, I would love to see Kingdom Hearts 4. Is it going to happen? I don't know, but I'll get my clown makeup on anyway, just in case.
I mean, if there's any showcase that it would appear at, I feel like State of Play just makes the most sense because apparently this is
Yeah, it wouldn't be an Xbox one. It would either be a
yeah,
specialty Japanese showcase, like
yeah,
the Tokyo Game
like
Show,
Square Enix or
or
something.
or Square Enix showcase or PlayStation. That's it. I just don't see any other possibility. And honestly, I don't think Square would do it on their own. I mean, maybe,
Mm.
but they just don't care. They don't. And it's so weird because like Disney's more of a powerhouse than ever. They own fucking Star Wars. So like I just don't understand Square's marketing strategy here. I
Yeah,
can't wait for when they complain when the game finally comes out and it didn't meet sales expectations. Bro, you didn't market it fucking at all. Like what did you expect? Anyway, sorry.
yeah.
I'm very salty about this.
Oh yeah, me too. Kingdom Hearts is one of
Yeah.
my favorites, but like
Yeah.
I don't. If we see Final Fantasy 7 Part 3 at the State of Play, I don't think we're gonna see Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't
No.
see them
No.
doing both in the same show. I think they'll focus on one or the other.
Yeah.
Um, it,
I think if we do see
yeah,
my very, very clown heavy prediction is if we do see Final Fantasy Remake Part 3 at this show, we will see Kingdom Hearts 4 at the Goaties in December.
I could see
It
that.
maybe just a teaser. I'm not saying a full on release date. I'm not even saying a release schedule, but a
Yeah,
teaser, something.
I guess Kingdom Hearts could be shown at that Disney showcase that they do in August. Like Disney does their own show as
Oh shit,
well.
do they? I didn't even know that. I don't think so
Yeah,
though. Disney almost never cross promotes Kingdom Hearts.
yeah,
Whenever there's something at Disney World that is actually like Kingdom Hearts related, people go nuts on social media because they're like, oh
yeah.
my god, they remembered.
I mean, like games take a long time to develop now, but even for like like 7 years, even for games is like way long. I mean, we've
It's
gotten
and this is what I was trying to say earlier, and I got sidetracked. They know the engine at this point. They don't have to relearn the engine. So when people say, "Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 had such a long developmental cycle," I always fire back like, Well, yeah, they were working with one graphics engine, then rebooted the whole fucking thing, and then did like what 2014 to 2019,
Yeah,
and then it came out in 2020 when they started promoting in 2019. Like it's not as bad as people think. It's just because people don't recognize that all these side games came out that were canon. Plus, this engine, and then they dropped it, and then they rebooted the whole project, and then it was a 5 year, basically a 5 year game
yeah,
development time, which is pretty average. But this doesn't make any sense because they're using the same engine they were before. It's been 7 years since Kingdom Hearts 3. It's nuts. There's no I don't have any excuse for Square on this
yeah.
one.
Plus, like, didn't they like pretty much cancel all the mobile games and like because they
Yeah, they canceled the mobile games out of the blue. So I mean, either that means that they're putting more people onto Kingdom Hearts 4, or Square needed them elsewhere, or it wasn't going anywhere and they were upset with how it was going out, like with the other mobile projects. I don't know.
yeah. I mean, Nate the Hate was pretty big leaker or whatever. Like said, keep your expectations realistic. So don't expect to see Half Life 3 and Kingdom Hearts 4 at this showcase. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see Kingdom Hearts being at this showcase, unfortunately. I mean, I've seen rumors that it's coming out in 2027, and that would, I mean, that's 8 years.
It was unveiled in 2022, back in April, but
Yeah,
it and then until last year, it's been, oh my god, it's been a fucking year. They did those screenshots I mentioned from Nomura, and then it's
yeah,
been quiet again.
yeah. And I don't know if this is true, but I've seen some speculation and smoke about Star Wars being in the game. Um, and like I've seen some mods where like Sora fights Darth Vader, and they like it's like Xemnas, but it's like modded with Darth Vader, and it's like really cool. Like they even use like Darth Vader's voice and stuff.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty awesome.
It'd be such an easy slam dunk, but I don't think Disney will ever agree to it. I don't I can't see they were such a hassle to Nomura on Kingdom Hearts 3. People
Yeah,
were complaining about why some of the worlds felt kind of
yeah,
not as complete as KH2 and KH1. It's because Disney was really micromanaging. I mean, I'm not going to
yeah,
completely blame them, but
yeah.
that's also part of why it took so long to come out.
Sure.
But anyway, we're getting on a big
Yeah. Well,
Kingdom Hearts 4
I was
tangent.
gonna yeah I was gonna say when Kingdom Hearts 4 actually is shown revealed and like we'll start speculating like what worlds are gonna be in it and all that and we can do that whole
Yeah.
conversation then. But yeah, I don't expect my expectations for the show is I'm sure I'm not gonna be blown away. Maybe we'll also get the KOTOR remake and things like that because that's been freaking forever since we've been waiting for that, and they still claim that it's happening. So we'll see. But if even half these things are shown, I think it's gonna be like a solid 7 out of 10 or whatever. I'll be happy. Like I won't be like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I can't wait. But
I'll be happy if
I'll be
it's a 7
happy.
or an 8. I mean, it is June, so I have slightly higher expectations than a usual state of play, which maybe
Yeah.
is unfair. I don't know, but yeah.
No, I think the June one is their big one. Cause not only that,
Yeah.
this show
So
is supposed.
I'd like a little better than a 7, but if
Yeah,
that's what we get, at least it's better than
yeah.
worse.
Because apparently the show is supposed to be 90 minutes long, and it's live. Like people can pay to be in the audience and stuff. So that
Oh,
makes me
wow.
think it's gonna be bigger than the normal state of play.
Yeah.
And they actually really need this because PlayStation is not doing very well right now. I mean, financially they're doing fine, of course, but because they have
Yeah.
no competition. But like they've been kind of in a rut right now with the games, honestly. And Saros wasn't a huge seller, nor was it going to be. But
No,
yeah,
it was never was.
yeah. All right, so we'll see. Tuesday, 5 o'clock. We'll see. We'll talk about it next week. All right, so let's get to the last topic of the night, which is 007 First Light, which Dory and I have both completed, and we both put about 17 hours into. It took me probably like 15 hours to beat because I was like 2 hour. 2 of those hours was like me pausing the game and doing stuff. So I would say 15 hours to beat it.
I have exactly 18 hours on my playtime. I'd say that was about maybe 17,
Yeah.
something like that. Because some of
So
that was
yeah,
me, like similar to Seb, pausing the game, going to walk Xena, going to eat something,
yeah.
whatever. So probably
Sometimes
closer to
yeah,
17
because
hours.
it's sometimes I pause it, eat dinner, leave the screen on,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. All right, so what is it? It's a action adventure spy thriller from IO Interactive, the studio behind the Hitman series. Instead of playing the experienced Bond fans know from the movies, you play as a young James Bond before he becomes the legendary 007 agent. The game combines stealth, gadgets, espionage, hand-to-hand combat, shootouts, and cinematic set pieces, as Bond takes on his first major missions for MI6. It blends open-ended spy missions with more linear blockbuster moments, giving players multiple ways to approach situations. So let's get into the pros first. And now, first thing for me is that this is my genre. This is my favorite genre in all of games. This is why I was a big PlayStation fan for a long time. I still am a big PlayStation fan. I mean, we just talked about State of Play for like an hour.
Yeah.
But third person action adventure games are my favorite. I am a giant Uncharted fan. I love the new approach for God of War and things like that. And this game is that. This game is Uncharted mixed with Hitman. And I had a complete blast with this game for I'll get into all the reasons why. But this was so my genre that if and you mentioned it feels like Uncharted 5. Um and that's what it was to me. It was an Uncharted adventure. Uh and even with the gameplay, and I'll talk about that because the stealth has some problems, which I'll get into later. But yeah, it felt like an Uncharted game, Uncharted 5. It felt like a pre it felt like a prequel to Nathan Drake. It felt like Golden Abyss,
Yeah.
like that kinda thing. Like a young Nathan Drake or a young James Bond. What about
Right.
you?
Yeah, I definitely got that feeling while I was playing the game. I felt like I was playing Uncharted 5 to a certain extent, in a good way. With the way that the climbing and platforming, or maybe not platforming is too much, but the way the movement worked when you're going around, combat and gunplay also. It feels like an Uncharted game, but you're also, playing as 007. Honestly, it felt more Uncharted than a Hitman game. But there are some little bits of Hitman in it. Like I noticed the ways that, for example, this is such a minute thing, but because I played the Hitman trilogy from IO so much, I noticed the way when Bond opens a door, the way he grabs at a door lock. It's the exact same animation for the Hitman games.
Mm,
And then there's certain other animations and things in the game I noticed that are like taken straight out of Hitman, which is fine. It's not a criticism. It's just me being like, there's the Hitman in it.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it feels definitely very Uncharted like, but I think for the better. The actions, high octane pretty much all the time.
yeah.
There's some amount of complexity to the levels, but it's not nearly as much as Hitman, as we'll talk about later. But yeah, I thought they did a great job with really capturing the essence of what makes a good James Bond movie.
Right. This game has excellent production values. It has great visuals, it has great voice acting, and it has great cinematic set pieces. This is a true AAA game. I would say this is IO Interactive's most AAA game.
Yes,
Best looking game for sure.
for
Um,
sure.
I
This
there's
is
I
such a step up from Hitman.
exactly. I mean, there's some issues with the character models sometimes, like in game, like their faces look a
Yeah.
little weird or something like that. Like when it's like bloating and things like that. But
I also saw some, like, if you look really closely during some
you
animations,
could see it.
sometimes
Yeah,
characters'
yeah,
fingers can like go through various
yeah,
surfaces and stuff, but it's minor
yeah.
stuff.
It's definitely not Naughty Dog level. But for
No.
sure, it's not Uncharted 4, but it's right below that. So
Yeah, it's like
it's a great.
Uncharted 3.5 or some shit.
Yeah, yeah. So this game has amazing visuals. I, it ran like a dream. I had no issues with
Yes.
frame rates. I had no issues with crashes, no bugs, really
I
nothing.
only had one time, when the last of ironically, the last boss in the final phase, I, was having extreme slowdown. I have no idea why. So eventually but all I had to do was I just quit the game and then restarted
Yeah,
it and ran fine. But that's it. I don't think I had any crashes.
yeah.
I had no major bugs or issues. It ran very well. I believe this is on their own engine, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, the only issue I had with the performance was that the DLSS with this game still needs some work and patches, and it wasn't getting the frame rates were not getting what I wanted it to be. It was still like around 60 when it should have been like higher than that, but it didn't affect me in any way. So, but it is there. The PC version needs a patch or two for sure. The voice acting is fantastic. I mean, it just feels like a
Yes.
legit movie. Legit actors. Patrick Gibson's performance as Bond was amazing. He did
They
a
gotta give this dude a Goldie nomination. I mean, he just does such an
yeah.
incredible job. He's got the inflections down. He's got the wit, the charm. It's so easy to make a witty, charming, white dude, male protagonist guy so fucking annoying, but they do not. He's very witty, very charming, and people always have the right amount of dry humor right back at him, either for being a smug bastard or for being too much or whatever. It's handled so well.
Yeah. I mean, it's still James Bond. Like, he's sleeping with women, he's being flirtatious, he's, has witty one-liners and comebacks and things like that. But I also like that they kept him like they made him even more reckless and impulsive and
Yeah,
rebellious. Like they set up like a really uh like a young person to build him up later on. Like maybe later on he's more
right.
chill and he handles situations better. Like he even in the game he grows throughout the game. In the beginning he's like very just screw you, I'm gonna do whatever I want.
Right.
And then as the game goes on, he becomes more heroic and patriotic, for his
And
country.
he does keep that core of like I'm gonna do what I want, but he has a more
Good
a
reasons. Yeah.
wider a
Yeah.
wider oh yeah, he has more wider view and reasons for why he's doing what he's doing, and it
Right.
feels like a
Yeah.
real character progression, not a huge one maybe, but
Yeah,
he is
yeah,
moving towards that.
exactly, and this game does an amazing job world building. It's a great first game to set everything up. Like, this game is an origin story, and it feels like a great game to kick off a franchise. Like, obviously, James Bond's already a franchise, but I mean in the video games. Like, this James Bond feels
Yeah,
like the next great video game character that people can really enjoy. It feels like an origin story to Lara Croft or Nathan Drake or something like the next great AAA video game character that people are gonna like. He's that good of a character, and I was very impressed. Right now he'd be my pick for actor of the year. For the character at the game of the year game awards. Um, but we're only in June, of course. But it's gonna be hard to anyone to beat that right now for me. It's kind of like with Jennifer English last year
yeah.
with Expedition 33. So we'll see. But not just that. Lenny James as Greenway was fantastic. I loved
He's
him
so good.
because
He was so good.
he's an asshole in the beginning of the game, but his relationship developing with James throughout the game and like when they team up and things like that was so good. I was extremely emotionally invested with his character and
Yep.
James's character, and the side characters around this game are great. James's friends, I love how they develop them, like the people he goes to training with. Like
Yes.
they show the whole relationship with them. They go to the
Cressida
apartment,
and
they live
Monroe.
together. Yeah, I think
Yep.
they did a great job with that. I thought M was great. I thought Moneypenny was great. She was a great character, great support character. Even the side characters, like random NPCs, like there's one guy with glasses that something bad happens to him at the end of the game, and like you only see him for like 5 seconds and you feel bad what happened. So like
Yeah.
it does a great job world building. It really does. The characters are just so well written and voice acted, and like it's a legit movie that you get emotionally invested with the characters, and it's like a 15-hour game, which is way more than a movie. So it
Right.
does a great job really setting everything up. All right. It has a really great mix of levels and climates. Like you go to Antarctic, you go to like a tropical resort in Vietnam. You go to different parts of Europe, like London, of course, because that's the headquarters. You go to Slovakia, you go to Iceland, you go to Malta, and there's like desert area. There's a desert level. There's a snow level. There's jungles. Like there's a variety of set pieces, and of course they do the Naughty Dog thing where like they show like something in the distance to really show off how AAA the game is, and it looks
Yeah.
incredible. This game does a game does a great job at that. This game is beautiful to look at. Um, as we said earlier, this is their best looking game to this point. Like it looks like a legit AAA game. The levels are big and they're very immersive. The chapters feel huge, and there's a lot of sequences in the chapter. Like for example, you'll be in a hotel level, right? Remember the hotel level? And like
Yes.
it's like 25 things happen in that chapter. Like it's not just like okay, walk in the hotel, shoot someone in the head, and the mission's over. Mission. That's how Hitman is set up, right? Like you can finish
Right.
the level in 5 seconds if you're like a speedrunner or something like that. Um, this game, like, there's like 25 things that happen in that one chapter. It's like
Yep.
a legit chapter. It's like Uncharted level of like writing in Last of Us or something. Like it's really cool. There's some issues with that if you're more of a Hitman fan. We'll get into that with the negatives later on. Um, do you agree with that? Like, how do you feel
Yeah,
about
for
that?
sure. I mean, I love Hit. I think I like Hitman more than you do, but I also appreciate that the levels, while still, like you said, big and immersive, still kind of retain a bit of narrowness to them, and that there's not so many options that you feel overwhelmed. Like
Yeah,
in an average Hitman level, I'll maybe pick one method and then maybe go back and pick a second
yeah,
if I really liked it or it really looked attractive. Here, it's like I can feel less bad about that because there's only probably 2 or 3
yeah.
ways to get through a thing.
I prefer that more than Hitman because I like sandbox games, but I get sick of them. I don't feel like replaying the same level and doing different ways. I'd rather just watch someone do that
Yeah,
than play it myself. So I like the Hitman games. I don't love them. So making this more linear and more of like a Naughty Dog kind of game where it's cinematic, I prefer that more. So that didn't bother me, but if someone likes Hitman, they're gonna dislike this a little more because it's very linear. It kind of gives you an illusion of choice because all the points lead to the same point, right? Um, a lot of decisions you make to get to point B all lead to the same direction. Like it's kind of like a Telltale game, right? Where you have a choice, but it's really an illusion of choice because it all leads to the same conclusion,
right.
and that's how this game is. I thought the pacing in this game was fantastic. Every level just went fast, and then even the ones that are big paced really well. There's some issues I had with like getting confused what to do, or I looked like
Yeah,
what. I have some problems with that. Some things were like
there
vague, way too vague, or something like that. But
yeah, there's a couple of times where characters would say, "Oh, all I need to do is this," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, what? And they would just
yeah,
repeat it over and over again, and I hate that shit. But
yeah,
generally speaking, paced very well. There was one level where you have to do a break-in. I'm not going to get any more specific than that, but it's kind of late in the game, and it's Bond and another character. And I was like, I could see someone feeling like this goes on a bit long,
mm,
because there's the break-in, and then there's the escape, and then there's more stuff after the escape, if I remember correctly. So there, but for the most part, I completely agree. Even then, although I could see someone having an issue, I personally didn't. I felt like it was balanced very well. The puzzles felt like a good balance of like accessible, but still you felt good after you achieved,
yeah,
after you figured it out.
yep,
And there was usually hints, which were generally helpful. Not always, but
yeah.
usually.
This game does have yellow paint or yellow on the platforms where to go,
Yes.
yellow pipes to follow, which I actually like. I don't. I actually like that in games because I
I'm
don't.
a I'm a yellow paint defender, not just because it's my favorite primary color, but also because I am deficient in being observant. So it's great for me personally.
Yeah,
But yeah, I do wish it was more of an optional thing. So when it bothers people, they can just turn it off if they don't want it.
yeah. I mean, it's subtle in this game. It's not like blatant or
Yeah,
anything. But I do like that because I don't want to spend 45 minutes walking in circles to figure out what the hell you want me to do. Because sometimes a lot of games keep it vague. And I know people are gonna be like, well, you just want your handheld. Not really. It's some of these games are like really vague, and I don't know what they want me to do. And when I see a lot of people saying the same thing, it's not just me. All right, so we talked about the pacing. This game, it feels like a James Bond, like authentic James Bond experience. Like it has the music, it has the characters, it has Easter eggs. Like this is legit. If you're a James Bond fan, this is the game to play. This is one of the best James Bond games ever, for sure. Now I can't say it's the best James Bond game ever because GoldenEye is like classic, way too classic for me. I mean that was my first multiplayer first person shooter, and that changed the game for me. But it's up there. This game is fantastic. Um, you're a James Bond fan. Do this feel like an authentic James Bond movie?
absolutely. Yeah, I feel like this is I mean, the most authentic we've seen a James Bond representation for me personally, actually, not we, but myself in a long time. It really felt like the James Bond I knew and grew up with. I saw some, some kind of worries about how he was going to be adapted into a modern context, because he's a bit of a womanizer. And certainly in some of those original novels, there's some uh, iffy bits race wise about some of the prejudices that are going on there, especially in the early movies as well. But I feel like they did a really great job, really seamless job making him a more modern Bond. Well, still, like, he's not a perfect guy by any means. He's a bit of a womanizer. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like he's not scummy to any of the women either, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it just feels like a natural kind of fit for him where he's, a bit of a playboy, but he's not. I never felt like he was pushing it in the wrong direction in
Yeah,
terms of making
yeah.
him unlikable.
You're right. He wasn't like abusive or like or he wasn't being creepy or sexual harassment. Like the ladies were all consenting and they were flirting with
Right.
him too. It wasn't anything, they didn't make him a creepy person. Because James Bond can
Right.
be like that sometimes, like old
Yeah.
school in a way. I think they made him very modern in a great way. And this is a unique James Bond because this takes place in 2026. So it was like a modern James Bond. So not only have we never seen like a young James Bond like this, we've never seen him in a modern setting like this as well. Like this modern when like the main bad guy is AI and stuff like that. And so I thought the story was good. The story very good, really. It's pretty generic. The bad guy being a billionaire, pulling the strings, and then AI is the bad guy again. We've seen that storylines done in several games. A lot of these developers are screaming for help, because in the industry we're in right now, making the AI the bad guy.
Yep.
Um, but that didn't really bother me, really, because everything else was so strong. There's a great mix of stealth, gadgets, action, and spycraft in this game. I really like the gadgets. I had a blast
Yeah.
using them. I always use the laser strap
Yep.
and the dart phone to get
Oh, I
around.
always use the laser and the smoke bomb, so I could
Yeah.
get a free like couple of takedowns. I think I was more melee focused than Seb was, as we'll talk about. But yeah, I always use the smoke bomb
No,
and the laser and the missile pen.
I wouldn't say I was very melee focused. I was not stealth focused at all, which I'll get into why.
Well,
But
that's what I mean. That's what I meant. I was doing a lot more. I think I did ended up doing a lot more
yeah,
takedowns than you.
yeah, that makes
So
sense. I I mostly use the dart phone for for combat too because it was good to take out make one person sick and then go after the other one and then take the other guy out. But also because this game has a lot of moments where like somebody stands, you need to grab an object and someone stands in front of it. You need to distract them, and I would use that. I would use the sickness just to the dart phone just to make them sick and then grab it and leave. Like they don't even question why a guy just walked by them and grabbed something and left. But
yeah, the
it's a
AI in
video
this
game.
game, that's probably something we could have seen.
It's a video game though, so I can turn off my brain for that. Um, we talked about the open-ended missions already. Uh, I actually really like the exploding pen when you get it later on. It really helped in gunfights.
Yeah, it
You
was
take
so
out like
good.
4 or 5 enemies with that sometimes. All right. The gameplay can be clunky at times, and we'll talk about that. But when it clicks, especially in the gunfights, it's a really fun game. It's awesome just throwing the gun at an enemy's head and tackling them and then doing a really cool takedown move in the middle of a gunfight. Like it's really fun when it clicks. It's janky at first, but when you get used to it, it's legit fun. I really had a good time with the gameplay, but it does have some flaws, but I really did enjoy the gameplay for the most part. And then Dory, your last point.
Yeah, my last point, in terms of the gameplay, um, the when you uh, do a takedown move, which Seb was just talking about, you can also often take the enemy's guns with you. That's a
Yeah,
really cool natural thing where you take this guy out, grab his gun, continue forward, keep shooting, run out of that gun, throw it. Just do this. You could just cycle enemies like that. I mean, it's
yeah,
not you're usually heavily outnumbered, so it's not always super safe to do that. But when you've only got like a few left, I think you can
yeah.
usually safely do that. And it's like I wish more shooting games did that,
Yeah,
third person shooting games, because that it's so fucking awesome. It feels great.
yeah. Plus, this game did a lot of the guns in this game did not have a lot of bullets in them, so I was
Yeah.
constantly running around and just switching weapons constantly. Like,
Yep, I was too.
yeah. All right, so that's our pros. Anything else you want to add about the pros before we move on to the cons?
Yeah, I mean, I think bar none, this is the best James Bond game probably since GoldenEye, and GoldenEye's mostly remembered for its multiplayer, not its single player. I love Everything or Nothing as a child. I absolutely adored that game. I don't know full transparency if it holds up now. I feel like it's underrated, but I'd have to go back to it to really see. But it had that kind of open mission kind of style that this game does as well. If I remember correctly, there was multiple ways you could do a mission,
Yeah,
and it was really cool. But yeah, I mean, this is probably the best Bond game ever, if not the second best, and only if you count GoldenEye. And so yeah, our cons are going to be there, but they're pretty minor for the most part. I have a couple of mild criticisms, which Seb and I both agree on, so I'll probably just be backing him up on that. But yeah, I mean, I think Seb said it really well. I pretty much agree with all of his pros. The combat's a little clunky and finicky at times, but very good. The thing I like about the combat is, and I Jake Baldino from Game Ranks also said this, is like it feels kind of like you're in a bar fight. Like it feels very realistic. Like it does feel kind of clunky and like kind of floaty in a sense, but it feels realistic in a way too, with the way that James Bond is fighting, because
yeah,
he is not like a martial artist or anything. He's more of a pub fighter or something like that, or
yeah,
like he has army training, but he's more of like a hand-to-hand combat guy. He's not,
yeah.
Solid Snake or whatever, right?
Yeah,
So
he's not doing like roundhouse kicks, and he's not Leon, or he's not doing like Jet Li, Jackie Chan
right,
moves. Like
right.
everything is just like jujitsu, like like throw someone to the ground, that kind of thing. Like legit
It's very
army
basic
training,
combat
army
maneuvers from
training.
him.
It's like army
Yeah,
training.
it's army training. Yeah, exactly. So I think that fits him very well, even if it can be
Yeah,
a bit iffy at times. Yeah, I definitely feel like they justified kind of the
yeah,
scope of the game, the pace. It's really good.
yeah. Right,
Story, writing, voice acting,
exactly.
all of it. So yeah, let's get on to the cons.
I already said this. It's not a big deal to me. This is like a very minor, just a mention, really. The story is kind of predictable and safe. Things that happen, I already expected to happen. I saw things coming a mile away. The big
Yep.
reveal at the end of who the real villain is was not a surprise. Um, I thought it was a little silly. I was like a little
I
ridiculous for me. It felt very
I
Metal Gear,
They
honestly.
didn't really explain how this was the final boss. Also, always double tap, man. I don't know what training he got in the army and MI6, but bro, you always double tap.
I mean, to
And
be
as
fair
soon as
though,
he
I mean, if that happened to you, it's probably
No, I know.
I'm kind of
So
confused.
I actually thought I'll correct myself actually. I actually thought, I was like, James, you got to double tap, bro. And then he says something, and then he does double tap. And I'm like, oh, okay, well now he's dead. And then anyway, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But you'll figure it out anyway when it happens. I will say one narrative con I want to talk about, since we're talking about narrative cons. Later in the game, one of Bond's allies, who's kind of you know, she's kind of like a femme fatale type. He criticizes her for the way she's going about her mission, that she's very lethal orientated. And
Oh
I'm
yeah, I
like,
thought this too.
"Ja-
I thought this too.
yeah, I'm like, James, in my kindest voice, you have killed so many people, and you
Yeah.
literally just killed the other. Well, but you literally just killed the other guy in a bid for revenge. You cannot criticize her for doing this. This is like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make
I
any sense
I
narratively.
said the exact same thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
bitch, you ain't Batman or Spider-Man. Like I just
right.
killed millions. I just killed hundreds of people.
Hundreds of people. He has
And
license
he's
to
like,
kill. He can't.
and he's like, I don't. This is not how I do my. It's not how I do things. So like, what?
Bro, you just threw someone off a platform in the Antarctic.
I
They're
just
dead.
I just headshotted like half the people in the game. That's not how I do things. That's like the
Ludo
Punisher.
narrative
That's
dissonance.
like the
Oh
Punisher
my
saying,
god.
"That's not how I do things."
That's not how I do things. And
Yeah.
Peter's like looking at it like a whole rack of bodies, like, bro, you sure?
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought that was a weird line.
It was very strange.
In
He
a
was
pretty
like trying to fucking high road her.
yeah, in a
And
narratively
I was
strong
like, bro,
game.
where do you get off doing that?
And what?
This is the whole thing about
Yeah,
007, why it's a guilty pleasure for me. I won't get super into this, but I'm very radical politically speaking. And so the idea of this kind of secret, I know obviously the governments have their agencies, right? Duh. But like a secret agency that has license to kill and goes around the world just fucking nabbing and bagging bad guys with very little judicial oversight
yeah.
is like a bad thing. And I feel like glorifying it for me is very weird and ethically ambiguous at best. But I say guilty pleasure because I still think it's fucking I still think it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And in the video game, they make it very cool, and they do grapple kind of with those ethical ambiguities and issues. But yeah, it's kind of like, bro,
I
you can't high road her. You
sure.
just murdered hundreds of
I
people.
I think it's because they're seen as like henchmen and like the bad guys, the terrorists kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like when we kill stormtroopers, like when we're Jedi and we like cut down stormtroopers. Oh, well,
Man, I'm gonna just refer you to the clerk's conversation
yeah,
about contractors at the Death
that's what
Star.
I'm
Like,
saying.
I don't know.
Like the
Yeah, but
stormtroopers are
there's
just
just
people.
like there's so much
Yeah,
ambiguity. He's just like just
yeah,
waving aside to the anyway.
the
It's
storm.
stupid. It's
Yeah,
the Uncharted. Ironically, it's the Uncharted problem, right?
exactly.
Nathan Drake
They're just doing their
is
job.
like,
They have a
yeah.
wife and kids at home, and they're working
I
9 to 5.
some of the bad guys. Literally, I remember one of them like was on the phone. I remember when you're at the resort. I won't say anymore, but I think you know what I mean. When you're
Yeah,
at the resort later in the game, and one of the guys, as you're trying to sneak into one of the targets' place, was like, "Hey, tell the kids I say hi. Love you, miss you. Tell them dad's living the dream." I don't know if you heard that
yeah.
too. And I was like, "Oh, well, that's nice. I don't want to attack the guy. Like, there." It's so
I think.
there's parts of the game where you have to attack people in order to progress the plot,
Yeah,
and it sucks because it's like, I don't wanna do that. I don't even wanna
yeah,
make them get sick and then go to the bathroom. Like, that just feels so shitty. Like, why do I have to do
yeah,
that? You should be able to distract people without, like, making them feel physically ill
yeah.
and just pickpocket them. I don't understand.
Not only that, but like like in the certain base at the end, like technically everybody's a lot of people there are just doing their job and like they don't even know what's going on. They're just like working in robotics. Like that's just their job, and
Yep.
like and they're just like let's just blow this place up and everybody loses their job and no one can escape and
Yeah.
everybody's just gonna die and
Yep.
it's a video game. You're not supposed to question it.
It's a video game, you're not
I
supposed to think
I
about
think
it, but yeah.
narratively they really like narratively like you have to like imagine that James Bond was really just knocking people out and not killing people. Like that,
Right.
I think that's really what
And then
they're
that's the
going for.
intended way you're supposed to play,
Yeah,
so,
but you can't. I'll get into that, but
yeah, we'll talk about
it's
that.
a video game. You just gotta turn your brain off. Like it is one of those. Like you're just fighting a bunch of henchmen. They all have wife and kids, and like you just got to like
Yep.
okay, whatever. They're NPCs, whatever.
Yep. You made a bad choice, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, like it's just one of those things. It's not real life. Of course. I mean,
Yep.
that'd be boring if the game was not realistic. I mean, like imagine like in a video.
They
Imagine.
already restrict you. I mean, you can
Yeah,
only kill people if they take out their guns. So you can argue pretty much everyone James Bond killed is self-defense. I don't think you can quite make that argument in
yeah,
Uncharted because or hit, especially not Hitman, because
yeah.
it doesn't work that
Can
way.
you imagine
But
it?
yeah, but at least in this game it's somewhat
Right.
restrained because you can only take
That's
out your
true.
pistol when the enemies have taken out their guns, which does make it a
Yeah.
little nicer. It's
Imagine.
interesting
Yeah.
because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
last thing I'll say about this, it's interesting because in the Hitman games, you can take out your gun whenever the heck you want and do whatever the heck you want because you're a Hitman, you're an independent contractor, basically. Obviously, it can make your mission a lot harder, but the gunplay is intentionally very finicky and very not super great. But in this game, you can't take out your gun whenever you want, but when you can, the action is great. So there's no middle room for IO,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying.
Not only that, imagine an action game like making you feel bad about killing one guy and like you have to go to the funeral and it's like just for one guy like
I'm telling you, The Last of Us Part 3 is gonna fucking do that because they almost got there with The Last of Us Part 2. No, Henry, he had a wife and kids.
yeah,
He was gonna adopt a pig tomorrow.
yeah,
No.
right. But yeah, the storyline was it has some genericness to it, but it was fine.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't need to be
it was
anything
fine.
crazy.
Yeah, when the villain was like dropping his big monologue on why he was doing what he was doing, I was rolling my eyes like, okay, man, I get it, but like you're dumb. Like
Yeah.
whatever.
It was like okay, how many times you can do the storyline with a billionaire pulling strings and an AI and like okay,
Yeah.
we've seen this a million times. All right, let's get to the gameplay. some gunfights can feel out of place compared to the stealth focused gameplay. Sometimes this game is at battle with itself. It's at war with itself. It can't decide when it wants to be a stealth game or an action focused game. Most of the time, for me, it was just better to fight.
Yeah.
There were times where there were so many enemies grouped together where like I have no idea how you expect me to stealth this. I would
Yeah.
I would do everything I can to like distract somebody like by like using my watch to put the radio on or something like that. And then one guy would turn around, and then the other guy has his back turned to me, so I can knock him out. But as soon as I do that, the other guy notices me. So it's like, you know what? Screw this. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
punch both
there's
of them.
there's some enemy layouts I just don't understand. I don't get why they have it like that. It's frustrating. You're supposed to, like, I guess the logic is you're supposed to distract one, take him out, and then maybe fight the other one, and
That's
have
what
the situation contained. But
yeah.
it doesn't make any sense.
And then most times, the other enemies are so far away from that specific room that I was easier just to punch and fight both of them,
Yeah.
and then move on. And no one runs back
Yeah.
in as long as
I
like
really
they
tried
don't
to
call for
stealth,
help.
but it was a big hassle. And
Yeah,
even after Seb and I talked about some of my frustrations with it, I still kept stealthing because I was like, this feels like that's what the game wants me to do. And that's what I'd prefer to do because I don't want to fight these guys and I don't want
yeah,
to kill them if I don't have to. So I was trying to be
yeah,
non-lethal, but eventually, like, there's a level late in the game where you're in a museum-ish
yeah.
area. I can't remember exactly. You know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And I stealth like 75% of it, got caught, and I just went loud, and I just wrapped up the mission that way. And I hated it because the guys in there weren't good, but I didn't want to kill them if I didn't have to. But yeah, you just,
Yeah,
and it sucks too because the gunplay is really solid and really good. And I at first I thought it was just solid, but then as I went through the game and you get more weapons and you fight more enemies and levels open up, I was like, no, this is
yeah,
like really good gunplay. So it just kind of robs you of half the experience of the game if you're more self focused. I mean, you have forced firefights, but still,
yeah. It's not like Metal Gear where if you get caught, it's a game over. Like you legit
yeah,
there's no consequence of getting caught. And
no, there's no issue.
like I tried stealthing initially, like in the beginning, like you're doing the training and you have to get the flag. Like I was trying
Yeah,
to stealth the whole thing. Like I thought maybe there's an achievement for that or something. I kept doing it. I kept reloading the checkpoint over and over and over again just to see if I can do it. And I was like, nah, screw this. It was just so much easier to just fight everybody, get the flag, and I finished it in like 3 minutes. And then that's basically how I played this game. I played it like an Uncharted game. Even in Uncharted, I don't stealth like Nathan Drake. I'm just gunning and fighting everybody.
yeah,
And I did that with this game. I played this game like a running gun game because I was just full speed running at people, switching guns as I'm running, throwing melee combat. Because when you're doing melee combat during a gunfight, the enemies just
yeah.
stand there and watch you, so you're not even getting shot at. So like there's
Yeah, I
iframes,
noticed that too.
things like that.
I think they cover that up narratively because the enemies usually say you're in my line of fire or something, so they're trying not to shoot at their comrades. I heard that like more than once,
Yeah,
so I think that's like the in-universe reason. Although
yeah,
one time somebody did start taking shots at me, but I think I had finished off their friend, and he was like, "Okay, I
yeah,
got line of sight." But yeah, I mean, you're totally right. It's funny to me because we played this game very differently. I was very stealth focused. I did go loud sometimes, especially if I got frustrated or if I got found out. And that's because of the checkpoint system, which I think is the next thing, or maybe it's not. I don't know, but
it's
that's one
not.
of the cons too.
It's coming up.
No, it's
The
not.
one of the
It's coming
issues
up.
too is the health. It was very inconsistent. Like even for James Bond, like in the final boss, for example, I would get shot like once and then like I would die. Like the machine gun was so
It
strong.
was
It didn't make
so
any sense.
annoying.
It didn't make any
The
sense.
the way that very vaguely, the way that the final boss is supposed to work is that you're supposed to use your gadgets to turn off these automated machine guns. But that felt bad to me. I was like, this felt like I'm supposed to be running and
Yeah,
barely outrunning the turrets that are firing at me.
yeah.
But every time,
They
almost
kept
every
hitting
time, they
me.
caught up to me. Yeah, they just
Even
kill you instantly.
in this game, several times you're supposed to run for your life and you're getting shot at and you're still getting hit. Like it doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't feel
Yeah,
like Uncharted had the same problem too. There's like sequences where Nathan Drake's running full speed and you're still getting shot, and it kind of takes me out of the narrative because he's getting shot, literally he's getting hit.
yeah,
He's supposed to be outrunning the guns, not getting hit. I died so many times. I died more in that last boss than I did the whole game because
Yeah,
It made no sense.
you're supposed to, like, stop and hack not hack them well, yeah, hack them and
No,
then turn them
yeah,
off and then run, but it doesn't feel good to do that. It feels counterintuitive.
it doesn't even want you to. You have to run full speed. That's all it wants you to do. But there's times where like I do exactly what it wants me to do. I went full speed, and then there's one time you have to kick the walls down,
Yep,
and I kept dying at that one part because there's nothing
yep,
blocking.
same.
I was like, this is really
I had
ridiculous.
to hack the turret and turn it off, and then I could make a run for it, and even then, I barely made it.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But
So, it was ridiculous.
um, so not only that though, some of the enemies in this game have weird health bars. Like the brawler, the big guys that like try to grapple you all the time. I would shoot them like 7 times in the chest, and they would still be alive. And I'm like, okay, I know they're big guys, but if I shot someone in the chest 7 times, you're not getting up. I don't care if you unless you're the Credible Hulk or something, you're not
Yeah.
surviving that.
I
And
didn't have this experience, or at least if I did, I never noticed it. But I also almost exclusively went for headshots, so I don't think it
I
ever.
I
I'm
did
not saying like I'm a
yeah,
paragon of headshots, but I
yeah.
don't. Yeah,
I did mostly headshots too, but there was times where like when you're in the middle of a fight, there's like 5 guys around you.
sure.
You're just randomly shooting, and like some of these
I
guys,
think then I just go for melee. But yeah,
yeah,
I didn't have that personally.
you can always
Not to say it didn't happen to you,
yeah, you
of
can always do
course.
that with the big guys though, because when you're fighting 3 guys and one of them's the big guy,
Yeah.
you get overwhelmed.
Oh man.
So
Yeah.
I
Don't
try,
even
yeah.
talk about that too.
Now there's times in this game, this is kind of a pro too, is that I felt like John Wick, where I was nailing it. Like I was not dying. I was just mowing down enemies. I was mixing up my physical combat with gunplay. I would shoot people and then punch them and to finish them off.
Yeah.
I was just like running, gunning. I wasn't even trying to cover. I was just like, let's just go. And like for most of the time, I was barely dying just doing that, and I felt like such a badass.
Yeah.
I feel like a pro gamer. Like I feel like, oh yeah, I'm legit good at this kind of thing at times.
Yeah.
But like I said, the health got
Uh,
inconsistent because there's other times where I get shot like 2 times and I'm already on like very low health and I have to
yeah. Yeah.
run
You
away.
you cannot take a lot. Honestly, it feels like Agent 47 can take more hits.
Yeah, but like the thing
Um.
is, like there's times where like I'm in the middle of like a area and they're all shooting at me, and like it's like they're either missing or I'm not taking as much damage. It was very hard for me to die at times. Like I felt like I was getting
Yeah.
hit a lot and I was still like surviving pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's other times where I get shot like 3 times and I'm dead. So the health was just very inconsistent. Another problem I had was there were barely any disguises in this game, like Hitman.
Yeah.
Not that it was a big deal, but I didn't like that you couldn't hide the bodies. So when I did want to stealth, the guys would just lay in the middle of the area, and like they see what they like. Oh, they catch you. Like, oh, there's a body here, and then what's the point of stealthing anymore? So I didn't like that. I didn't understand why in
I
2026 we
completely
can't hide the
agree.
body.
I
Yeah,
noticed that pretty early in the game, and it doesn't even make any sense because that was one of the core things you could do in the Hitman series. And since
the
this is their
core,
own engine,
the
what?
core, it's
Yeah,
the
the
core.
core. Yeah, it's like why would you get rid of it? And like I'm pretty sure this is IO's own engine, so like you can just insert it from your last game. I don't. I'm
Yeah,
oversimplifying. I don't know how game dev stuff works, but it's your own engine. Like just rehash it from the last. I don't
yeah,
understand. It seemed very silly to me. You should be
right.
able to hide the bodies.
Right. I didn't like the gadgets needed to require consumables. It felt like The Last
Yeah.
of Us, where you're just grabbing like tools. I'm like, why couldn't they just do a cooldown? Like, I didn't understand
Yeah, IGN review
that.
also noted that, and when they said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, I never even thought about that." It's very strange. You're like picking up fucking Windex, and somehow that's
Yeah,
powering your
it
missile
just
pen.
grabs
I'm like,
it.
"How the fuck?" Like,
Yeah,
it's just stupid. Why?
yeah, that should have just been a cooldown. That would have made more sense to me,
I agree.
honestly.
I agree.
So it just made it feel arbitrary. The fighting we were talking about being clunky. The fighting when you're fighting 3 enemies at the same time, they can be really clunky. It's I wouldn't say it's hard.
Yeah.
But it can be annoying, especially like almost every enemy in this game. Even like scientist guys are doing 3 hit combos on you, like
Yeah.
roundhouse punch, punch, roundhouse
I,
kick.
I,
This,
I
this guy,
thought that at one point. I was like, I said that out loud. I was like, "Is everybody in this fucking game a black belt? What the fuck?"
it's like
Holy
scientist guys wearing lab coats doing like roundhouse kicks. I'm like, what the
like,
heck?
what the hell? What is happening here?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm glad you said this. I felt part of the problem here was that dodging, at least for me personally, was not intuitive. I can't tell you how many times I died because somebody did one of those unblockable moves and I had to dodge. The
yeah,
way you have to do it on the Xbox controllers, you have to do the left analog stick and push the A button.
yeah,
And for me, it should have been like a bumper press. Like it should have been one button instead of two.
Yeah.
I just kept dying from red attacks, and it just felt like a lot. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but it felt like a lot to balance yellow parry attacks, red dodge attacks from multiple enemies who have surrounded you. That was the thing too.
Yeah.
When it was 1-on-1 or even 2-on-1, I could handle it, especially if there are throwables in this game or OP. If you throw
Mm.
a wine bottle or something at an enemy, it's over for them.
You
Like
just spam
you
it.
just throw it at them, do a
Yeah.
3-hit combo, grab them, knee them in the head a couple times, then finish them off. They're done. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
You can
But
spam
but
it.
if there are
Yeah.
no throwables around, you're fucked, or you could be fucked anyway.
Yeah. I agree. The grappling part with the red, the red
Yeah.
meter over
It
their head or
kept
whatever, that was
getting me, and
annoying.
they would throw you up against the wall, and, like, you couldn't stop yourself. There's no recovery button, and also, sometimes the wall would be really close, so there's just nothing for you to do,
Yeah.
and you'll just get bounced back and forth between enemies like a fucking wind-up doll or
Yeah.
something, so
No, and like it wasn't an issue when it's like as you said, it wasn't an issue when it's like 1-on-1 or anything like that. But when you have like
yeah.
3 enemies and the 2 other enemies are doing 3-hit combos on you, and you have to like parry them, and then the other guy is grappling you at the same time, your brain just has a hard time like
Yeah, it was
switching back
just
and
tough for
forth.
me to keep up. I wanna
Yeah.
also note, I found a couple of the boss fights kind of they weren't bad, but I wanna say they're a little underwhelming in their implementation.
Very bare
Just a couple
bones.
of
Yeah.
what's that?
Very bare
Very
bones.
bare bones,
Very
yeah. Uh,
easy too. Like
kind of yeah, I just feel like they were a little finicky in execution. A lot of them, again, I'm trying to be vague, but they revolve around gadget implementation and using your surroundings and your environment, which is great. I mean, that's a obviously it's something they probably instill in you in agencies and stuff is use your environment to
but
your
I wish they
advantage against
told me.
enemies. But yeah, but they don't really tell you. They kind of just let you figure it out on your own, which is fine to an extent, but give some hints. Like
Yeah.
it just felt like with one of the bosses, I just kind of had to learn the hard way how to use my environment, and it took me a little bit, and it was just kind of like annoying. Um,
Yeah.
there's only really one straight up boss fight where you're on equal playing field with the boss. Everything else, like they've got something helping them out that makes attacking them directly a fool's errand, which I
Yeah.
found annoying.
Yeah.
Because it just kind of took me out of the experience a bit and
Yeah.
made fighting them a little less dynamic.
Yeah, there's
And
one.
it's not like
Yeah.
I really wanted them to pull a Mr. Freeze from Arkham City. I kept thinking they were going to do this.
One of them kinda
I don't.
does.
It kind of does, but they kind of reference it. But I feel like they didn't implement it much. But like for those who don't know, like in Arkham City, but you can't do the same trick on Mr. Freeze twice. So if you do a certain kind of takedown, he'll make that takedown unavailable. They don't do that as far as I could tell with the gadgets. Like you do one kind of gadget damage to them. That like in one of the fights you can use these lights to like blind the boss. These like spotlights.
Yeah.
And at one point the boss gets out the gun and I'm like, "Oh, they're going to do the freeze thing. He's going to shoot out the lights so that now he can't stun him and I
Yeah.
can't go up to him and punch him." But they didn't do that. So I found
Yeah.
that
And
disappointing.
it was easy. I would spam the same light like in 4 times. That boss was a joke.
I had that on cooldown. So or at least I thought I did. Maybe I was just running too frantically to find out. I don't
Well,
know.
I wasn't using the same. Oh, let me rephrase that. Like I probably used the same light twice or something like that. Like,
Okay.
but it was like easy.
And then
That
you
fight
moved
was
it.
like laughably easy. Like I had no issue.
Yeah.
Like did it on the first try. The only
Yeah.
the only boss I didn't know what to do was when you had the hide and seek one. We had to use the gadgets because I didn't know what to
Yeah.
do. I didn't know what they wanted me to do. And
Yeah. I
he
struggled with that too.
was shooting the devices to destroy them. You couldn't reuse it or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
That
I
one he
see.
wasn't.
I ran like so fucking far from him. I could never tell, but I did hear him shooting, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But once I figured it out, it was a joke. So all the boss fights in this game were super easy. And then the only boss I had trouble was the final boss, and it wasn't even because of the fight itself. It's just because the
Yeah.
turret kept killing me in 2
It wasn't even
shots.
because of him. It was because of his fucking turrets.
And all you had to do was aim the turret at him. So that was a joke too. Once I actually hacked it, and the
Yeah.
checkpoint for that part was actually good. Once you did
Yes, I also thought the checkpoint system was really good. I expected to get sent back to the beginning of phase 2 when I died, but they
yeah.
must have known those turrets pack a
Yeah.
punch
So
because they
yeah.
yeah.
So the boss fights in this game felt dated. They felt like a PS3 game, and they were not that
Yeah.
great. Not very
They weren't great.
memorable.
I'm not gonna say they were bad, but they weren't the highlight of the game.
Yeah.
I had much more fun fighting mobs than I did
Yeah,
bosses.
not great. So I think okay. Let's say okay.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Now I think one of the biggest problems with this game is the inconsistent
Checkpoint.
checkpoint system. I think
Yeah.
there's parts where you die, and there's gonna be times where you die because whether for whatever reason they grapple you, you get shot, or whatever, right?
Right.
Some things just exploded near me. or something like that. Because you get like really overwhelmed with enemies. Like there's times in this game where you get like 25 soldiers shooting at you from all
Yeah.
angles, and you'll die a few times. And then it starts you all the way back to the beginning of the sequence, and it gets so annoying because this game has like a 20-second, 25-second loading screen when you
Oh my
die.
god, the loading screen is killing me, dude. I was like I know it's
Yeah.
such a first world problem, but I was like literally I'm like, wow, I'm able to look at my phone actually
Yeah,
during
that's
this loading screen.
exactly. I was
It was
eating, like
annoying.
I was like eating when I die. Okay, again, this is my chance to snack on something.
Yeah. Yeah, my experience was this, and this is when I messaged you earlier. I was on the I was near Lenny Kravitz's character, and there's a part where you're supposed to sneak to all the way to the end of the shipyard or something like that. And Lenny Kravitz, by the way, does a great job. I don't know how much VO he's done, but he's very good here. So props to Lenny Kravitz of all people. But yeah, you're supposed to sneak to the other side of the boatyard, and I got caught, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to get caught. I want to do this stealthy." So I restarted checkpoint, and I had it was like it's in meters, so it was like 103 meters, and I had like 20 meters left, or I had done like 50 meters or some shit like that. I had gotten like 3/4 of the way there. Is the point? It sent me all the way back to the motherfucking beginning. I was irate. I was like, I'm never doing that again. I also had another experience where I hit restart checkpoint after I got caught in the Scorpio place where you're supposed to get like a burner phone and stuff. And that I can't even believe this. I had done the fight pit. I had done the fight after the fight pit, and I had done some of the Scorpio plays. It sent me before all of that at the beginning of looking for the money. I was like, that was like 15 minutes ago, dude. Like, where are the saves? Like, if you're not going to let the player, this is always my thing here. If you're not going to have a consistent, if you're not going to have manual saves, that's fine. But you have to have a robust checkpoint system. Otherwise, it is incredibly. It's the same thing with Replaced, right? Now, this game gets away with it because it has way better gameplay, way more forgiving than Replaced does. But you've got to have a good checkpoint system. Otherwise, it's incredibly frustrating. Now, luckily, I didn't get frustrated too many times, but the few times I did, they were memorable.
Yeah, agreed. The checkpoint system is just very
Uh,
inconsistent, and
yeah,
I had several annoyances with it. I didn't die like a ton,
yeah,
but enough to be annoying. I would say I died
yeah.
like
I
10
didn't get
times,
frustrated with
maybe.
I didn't get frustrated with the game at all, except in the final boss. Like I don't think I yelled at all at the
Yeah,
game
the final
in
boss is
terms
the
of
only
like
time
getting super mad.
I was getting a little annoyed. I don't. I mean, I'm a very chill person. I don't get like I don't ever
Yeah,
rage quit throw my controller across the room kind of thing. Like I'm very
no,
chill, but I was getting like this is really stupid. Especially the part where you had to kick the wall down. I just kept dying from that one part. I'm like, you want me to
yeah,
run? I was running full speed. I was not hitting a corner. I was like doing everything they wanted me to do perfectly, and that's just bad game design in that part. Like that wasn't
yeah,
me. Like like in a Souls game when you die, like a lot of times it's just you because you didn't do the correct thing or whatever. That was just bad game design in that one part.
yeah.
There's a
I
couple
think it was
times like
completely
that.
counterintuitive.
It's a couple times like that in this game where it was like really
Yeah,
overwhelming and just way too many enemies. There's other times with this game they want you to fight or like sneak around. I just went full speed to the objective, hit the button, and it skipped everybody. I was like, oh okay, well I don't think you wanted me to do that, but I'll do it. So I won't say it here because I don't want to spoil anything. So you mentioned the island missions, the experience that
yeah.
was
I
very
mean, that's what I just talked
yeah,
about. The one with Batma's
right, right,
shipyard.
yep. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what you meant.
yeah,
There's a couple of times where the levels were like a little too. Sometimes the pacing was really good in this game. There were a couple of times where the pacing slowed down a little bit too much for me. I'm like, I like the Vietnam level. I thought that was cool, but there was some parts where I was like, okay, I'm not really feeling this. You know when you gotta like make the three people drink the drug or whatever it was, the
right.
tracker. I was like,
Yep.
that was kind of annoying. That felt like Ubisoft kind of thing to me. It was like a Hitman game, but I was like, I'm not. I don't know if I'm real because something big just happened, right?
Yeah,
And then it jumps to that. I was like, I don't know. This could have been a mission earlier for me, but
sure.
That's a nitpick. I already mentioned the character models. Looking have some issues when you see them up close. It's not as good as a Naughty Dog game. It still looks like a Hitman game. Better, but it still looks like a Hitman game. And then this game doesn't have a lot of replayability, if any at all.
No,
Hitman games
there's
are
really nothing. They are
yeah,
supposed to add stuff. They've already shown some teasers for some car based stuff,
yeah,
but yeah, nothing major.
and they've already said James Bond will return like it's a Marvel movie, so
I
expect a
okay, Seb.
sequel.
I want to be fair here. They did do that a long time
I know,
before the Marvel movies.
I know, but like Marvel, like the exact phrasing as Marvel does, like will
I know,
return.
but Bond did it
I
first.
know.
Bond did it
I know
first.
that. I mean, I've watched every James
Okay,
Bond, but like it's the way it was worded with the black, black background with the white text. It was like
sure,
James Bond will
sure.
return. I was expecting to
Well,
hear it,
he's gotta put together a team.
and I was
So
expecting to hear da 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 like the little chant they do.
yeah. They were. We forgot to talk about this, but the music in this game is really good too, and they are
I
very
talked about it a little bit,
careful
but
about
not.
using
Yeah,
the motif of the 007 theme. They're very careful about it. You hear little bits here and there.
yeah,
Although I will say, the beginning of the game scared the shit out of me because it goes da na 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 na, and I'm like, what the fuck, Jesus Christ!
yeah. Although when they do play the final theme, like the main theme, it's earned.
It is so earned, so
Yeah,
earned. Seb and I have some, as you can see, we have criticisms, but I mean, this is still an excellent
they're not
game all
major
around.
ones. Yeah,
Yeah,
uh,
they're not major. Most of these are minor. I would say the biggest one we have is the checkpoint system,
yeah, and the
maybe something
jankiness,
else too, and the
the
jankiness.
jankiness of the gameplay at times, and the checkpoints are the two biggest weaknesses for me.
Yeah, I would say so.
Everything else is a smaller thing.
I would
Um,
say another minor criticism I have personally, and this is the last one I have. I just feel like 70 is a little too much. I feel like 60 was okay, and 50 is like the sweet point for this. I'm not saying you're not getting your money's worth if you pay $70. Obviously, that's completely subjective.
yeah,
But for me personally, I just felt like 60 was a good price point for this, and 50 is probably perfect, but maybe
yeah,
too idealistic. But I mean, it's an excellent game, and it feels AAA. So either
yeah.
way, I think it's all right.
It's worth. Yeah, I think it's worth $60. I mean, for me, it's $70 is fine for me because that's just the norm of how games are now for day one and things
I
like
know
that.
I hate that it's a norm. I really feel like we should have capped it at 50, but whatever.
Yeah, but but in terms of like going by that, like the basis, like that's
Sure.
normal. That I think it is worth $70. Yeah, I think it's worth full price. But I got it for like 50 something. I mean, that's the part. That's the advantage of playing on
Yeah.
PC and getting a Steam
I got
key.
it for like 57. I absolutely feel like it was worth my time and my money. So
Exactly. Could you wait for a sale? You could do that for every game.
yeah.
I think it's worth the full price if you want that day one, but you can definitely wait. I'm
If
sure.
you're a huge Bond fan, I would say, if you're not on PC and you're a huge Bond fan, absolutely buy it.
Yeah,
But if you are just kind of about Bond or just unsure, wait.
yeah.
Or look for a sale online.
Yeah, the general rule is if you're not doing a podcast like us, or you don't care about FOMO and talking about the game
Yeah.
at the same time as everybody
I
else, you can
And
wait.
to be clear, even if we weren't doing this podcast, I would have bought this game. I love
Yeah,
James Bond,
same.
and I'm a
Yeah,
huge fan of it growing up.
I've
So I would have bought it either way.
yeah
But yeah, the podcast definitely motivates me more too.
yeah, and I've always bought games day one, even long before I did a podcast. Like even when I was like
Right?
2015, I was buying games day one. No, I don't buy games day one for every single thing. But like usually like a one or two a month, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I never play full price anymore because I have the Steam keys and all that. But anyway, this game's a 9 out of 10 for me. This is my second favorite game of the year so far. The only game I think is better than this is Resident Evil Requiem. But my top five is going to completely change. Top 10 is going to completely change by the end of the year. Obviously, there's so many big games coming out. So, but as of right now, James Bond is my second favorite game, and I'm pretty confident it's going to stay in my top 10. I don't see it come falling out of the top 10 or anything like that. Like I really love this game. I thought it was fantastic. Um, and
I have a lot of
yeah,
9 out of 10 games for me this year. I think this is definitely in my top five, but I don't think it's in my top three. I don't know. I'm going back and forth. It might be just out of my top three. I'm not sure.
yeah,
I'm going back and forth on it. This was a hard earned 9 out of 10. Like this is a weak 9 out of 10 for me. But I
mhm,
have some other weak 9 out of 10s. Like Mouse PI was a week 9 out of 10. Mixtape, I think eventually I landed on a week 9 out of 10, and then Pragmata is a bit stronger, and then Esoteric Eb's stronger than that. RE9's at number 1.
Yeah,
So I've got like it's somewhere in my top 3 or top 5, but I
sure.
haven't completely decided yet.
Yeah, I have like I think Resident Evil Requiem was like a 9.3 or whatever for me. And then I had like three nines out of tens. Like Forza was a 9 out of 10. Mixtape was 9 out of 10, and this one's a nine out
Yep.
of ten. And then the other ones are all eights. Because there's some games that I don't feel as strong as you do about them. Like Mouse PI, I
Yeah.
thought it was an 8 out of 10 or a weak 8 out of 10. But 8 out of 10, and things like that. Like a lot of I played a lot of 8 out of 10 games this year, I would say.
Sure.
Um, yeah, so I think 9 out of 10 is a fair for this game. My nine's a strong nine than you, but it's still
Yeah.
same
I think
score
you're
either way.
higher on this game than I am. I was at an 8.5 for a good part of the game, but
Yeah,
eventually I started enjoying the story and the combat so much, and they started leaning harder on the gunplay as you get further into the game. There's more forced gunfights or
yeah,
more situations where it's just almost impossible to stealth through.
yeah.
And so I started really seeing what the game excelled at, and I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is excellent.
it's all arbitrary, of course, but it sounds more
Yeah.
like a 87 or 88 for you than a nine. Like it sounds like a high B kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's a week 9 hot, strong 8 kind of situation, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say a James Bond
like a
9. I'm
high
not gonna do that.
because the Metacritic has like 87.
And I think that's fair.
I think it's a
I
fair.
think it's a B plus A minus situation.
Yeah, because my 9 out of 10 is like a rounded up nine. You know what I mean? Like it's a nine.
Yeah.
It's a 9 out of 10, but like if I want to like really be detailed, which I don't, 'cause it's all arbitrary nonsense, it doesn't really mean anything.
Right. Absolutely.
It's probably more like an 88, 89 kind of thing.
Sure.
But I don't get into all that specifics. I'm not IGN or
No,
something.
it's not that big of a deal. It's
Yeah,
not that deep.
yeah. But I love this game. I'm so excited for
Same.
the future. Give me all the sequels. I'm sure this is gonna have at least two more sequels. Pretty
I'm absolutely locked
and
in.
DLC.
IO, you have my money, you have my attention,
Yeah,
and you've certainly earned it. So great job, IO.
and you already know they're gonna give us a lot of content because Hitman has tons of content that's
Yeah,
updated.
they'll probably do DLC for this. Maybe they'll even do like a full fledged couple hour long DLC thing. I don't know. I'd love to see it.
Because Hitman got tons of DLC and tons of
Yeah,
like cameos from actors and tons of like random things.
and
So
and 007 has a lot of weight to it in terms of being an established franchise. So I'm sure. I mean, if you can get celebrities for fucking Hitman, you can get it for absolutely get it for 007, if not more so.
yes, 100%. So
Yeah, I got Lenny Kravitz for this. I mean, yeah,
guaranteed they're gonna have former James Bond actors make cameos and stuff like that as
yeah. I'd be
DLC. I'm
surprised if
sure.
they get like John Cleese or something like that, or a former Q or something like that. Or
Yeah,
I mean, Pierce Brosnan is still doing acting. You could absolutely get him in a cameo. So
that'd be cool if they did like a little trippy James Bond level where like all the actors
yeah,
play themselves or something. They're alive.
honestly, the Antarctic level, which we've already talked about, it really reminded me of one of the Pierce Brosnan movies. I forget which one it is. I think it's the one with Halle Berry. But it reminded me of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's one of the ones I grew up with as
Yeah,
well.
same.
All right, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching,
Now that
everybody.
we talked about for an hour. We talked about
Yeah,
PlayStation for about 45 minutes.
yeah,
That could have been a
exactly.
podcast all by itself.
Absolutely. Um, and so next week, we might have two episodes because two showcases, big ones, to talk about, and not
Yeah,
unless you want to do a 3 hour show, which I assume you don't. Uh,
eh,
it's one of those things.
maybe depends.
Yeah. Well, we'll plan it. But either way, expect either a 2 episode thing or a one long one. But either way, we're gonna be talking about not all the showcases, but we're gonna talk about the state of play, the Xbox show, and the Summer Game Fest opening night. Because those are the three biggest ones. The PC gaming show usually bores the hell out of me, and I don't see anything that
Yeah.
interests me. And then the other ones are like cozy games and small indie games. And we've already talked about a lot of indie games, and usually they're just repeats of what we already know, or they're games that just
Yeah.
don't appeal to me at all.
June
Um,
is the month that Seb and I really focus on the big showcases because we already do a lot of the indie showcases throughout the year anyway. So a
yeah,
lot of these might be news to other people, but they're probably not going to be. And I'm not trying to be all like, oh, we're the cool kids, but because
yeah,
we're
yeah,
not, we're fucking nerds. But
right.
like, yeah, we'll probably already know a lot about all those. I'll still probably watch a lot of. I already
I'll
have.
watch all of them,
Um,
but I won't talk about them
yeah,
yet.
but we're not gonna necessarily talk about them. So
And a lot of those games don't appeal to me either. Like, there's a lot of games that are just certain genres that just don't appeal to me. I'm not a cozy gamer. I can't play simulation games. Just sit there
yeah.
and build a
I
town.
will I will recommend everybody go check out the indie JRPG stream that happened a couple days ago. Now there are some usual suspects like Alabaster Dawn and
Yeah.
Sacrifier and stuff we talked about before, but there were definitely some new games that I wish listed that came straight out of that showcase. So I recommend go
Can you send
checking
me?
that out.
Can you
That's
send me
you
the
can find
link?
that
Can
on YouTube.
you send me the link
Yeah,
for
I'll
that?
send you the link. I'd already sent you a couple links, so I didn't want to spam you. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
don't,
it's called
yeah.
Indie Quest 2026. It's the
Okay.
ultimate JRPG
Well,
showcase.
I can just look it up after the podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Too. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. You'll have a great night. Happy summer. And we'll see you guys for all the showcases. Take care, everybody.
All the showcases. Kingdom Hearts 4 next week. Just kidding. Not gonna happen.